wonder if I could make a penis with my voice.
You've said this
tried
before.
that.
Have I? No, I haven't.
Yes, you have.
Dang it. It's too flat. It's like a flathead.
This is when I said, "Oh, it looks like a horse dick." And you're like, "Oh yeah, it looks like a horse
Oh, it does look like a horse dick.
Oh, God.
I love you, Everett.
We've run out of content.
But it really does look like a horse dick.
This is Twin Stick Radio, episode 57 for the week of February 18th, 2019. I'm one of your hosts, Trey Higgins. I'm joined by Chris Rodriguez.
Hello.
And Justin T. Lopez.
How's it going?
Good. I actually played some games this week.
I saw.
Yeah.
You've been posting a lot of screenshots on like Instagram and whatnot.
I played a lot of games this week. But before we talk about that, does anyone have anything interesting to say at the top of the show?
No.
Yeah, not unless somebody brings something up. Then I might.
What's going on in the world?
Are you sure, Chris? You usually have like a nugget there. And then when we start talking about something else, you remember the nugget. And then you interrupt to talk about the nugget.
I had Burger King nuggets, like fresh ones.
Ugh.
How was that?
They were okay.
Ugh.
I mean, they're as good as they always are.
For $1.
Yeah, for 10 nuggets for $1. It's like when you're 5 years old and your mom heats up nuggets for you in the microwave. That's what they taste like, and they're great.
That's like an admission of defeat that you can respect. Because,
Sure.
you know, like McDonald's would never sell 10 nuggets for $1. Because
No,
their
but they'll
nuggets
sell-
are great.
No, but they're not great.
Their nuggets are great.
No, they're not.
No, they're pretty
And
good.
They'll sell 20 for $5.
yeah, but not 10 for $1. But Burger King was like, you know what? We're never gonna beat McDonald's nuggets. We're just not. So we got to like accept our defeat. And,
I prefer
and sell ours really
Burger
cheap.
King's nuggets.
Ugh. I think that's because of the price. What if they were the same price?
I think I would still prefer Burger King's nuggets.
Interesting. What do you like about them that you don't like about?
The nostalgia factor. They taste like the nuggets I had when I was a kid.
Oh, fair enough.
Where McDonald's is just like, oh, they're trying really, really hard to make this seem like real chicken, and it's not. At least Burger King's like accepting. It's like, yeah, this is totally not real chicken. That's why it's $1.
I think that's why I prefer Burger King's the chicken fries. Because it's like, it's clearly not a chicken nugget at all.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, they
And
probably
those,
taste the same.
those are pretty good.
Yeah, they probably taste the same.
Burger
It tastes
King-
better in fry form.
Oh, okay.
Burger King has like awesome double cheeseburgers. I remember in high school we used to just go we would go in between the end of school and like band or theater practice and our rehearsal in theater's case, and we would go to the Burger King because that's basically all we had on base besides what was in the BX, and that was just a pain in the ass to get to. We would go and we would order like 2 or 3 double cheeseburgers with zesty sauce and just sit there and
What's
destroy that
zesty
shit.
sauce?
It's the sauce at Burger King. It's
That's
zesty.
gross.
It's really, really good.
It's zesty.
When I was in
It's a
college,
good description. for it.
First year of college, Burger King, they used to have their dollar menu. I don't know if they still do. They might.
They do. It's just
But-
not as good as
Probably
Sure.
called it's probably called the value menu.
Sure, but like back when I was in college, their dollar menu consisted of junior double cheeseburgers.
Yeah.
And it would just be meat, cheese, and ketchup and pickles. That's all that was on this thing. But they were like this big and they were $1. So you can go there and get like 5 burgers, and for $5 and just be like
And
be
you'll
way
just be
past
set.
full. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
and they were good. I mean they were Burger King burgers. That good is relative, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
You know what restaurant I'm surprised is still open? And heavy air quotes are
BJ's?
on restaurant. No, not BJ's.
Yeah,
Sorry,
I'm-
fast food restaurant.
I'm very surprised BJ's is still open.
Wiener Schnitzel. Have you ever gone to a Wiener Schnitzel?
It's a hot dog place, right?
They sell hot dogs, I think mainly, but they also sell burgers.
Yes,
too.
my first year of college, like in the first week of school, they handed out these little booklets that had coupons for free hot dogs from Wiener Schnitzel.
I know exactly
That's
what
the
you're talking
only
about.
reason
and
you
that's-
went to it?
That's
and
the
I had
only
no
time.
money, and I was super hungry, and I didn't like. I was like driving back to campus, but I was like starving, so I stopped by there and used like 5 of those coupons to get
That's
free
the
hot dogs.
only time I've ever been to Wiener
Is there
Schnitzel.
still a
as well.
Wiener Schnitzel right there on
Wonder
it's
World?
Wonder World in San
Yeah,
Marcos
I think
across
so.
from Lowe's?
Mm-hmm. Still there.
Hmm.
Don't know how.
I don't
'Cause
understand how
it
they're
never
the
looks.
only-
It never looks busy.
I don't understand how they're the only fast food hot dog place. Like I feel like that's an untapped market
Is
that
it
Wiener
though?
Schnitzel is like destroying because they don't even make good hot dogs.
Well, I feel like hot dogs are in themselves already easy to make. Like I'm not gonna go home and make like a half-pound burger, but I could go home and make a hot dog.
I don't know. I feel like in the days of frozen food, nothing is hard to make. Because like if I could just go buy like 10 burger patties for like $5 from Walmart and throw them in the microwave and be like, oh, there's a burger.
Yeah, that's
which
not
is basically how
that's-
most people make hot dogs.
But that's not how you cook hamburger meat.
No. But they have like pre-made
They do.
frozen ones.
Where you
Oh,
just
they're
heat
not,
it
okay,
up.
Yeah,
they're
I
not
understand
raw.
that you
Okay.
can't just throw raw.
Okay, they're not
hamburger.
raw. Okay, I understand.
Which is no,
I understand.
It's not unfair of you to assume that I
Yeah,
would
sure.
think that way.
I understand.
I got a crock pot for Christmas, and I was looking up crock pot recipes
How old
on
are you?
YouTube. 24.
And you got a crock pot for Christmas?
I wanted a crock pot. Leave me
Crock
alone.
pots are awesome.
Anyways,
Yeah, maybe when you're 35.
No, but they're great because like you can make like a year's worth of food just by throwing shit in a
and
fucking
you just leave it.
pot.
But so I'm looking up recipes, and I stumble upon how to make hamburger meat in a crock pot. I'm
Sure.
like, okay, I'm interested. Why not? And it's this lady who's just, here's how you brown hamburger meat in the crock pot. And then
Probably the exact
afterwards,
same way you brown it in a pan.
oh yeah, except it takes like 4 hours.
Sure.
And then afterwards, she's
It's
like,
probably got really dry too.
probably. She portions it into little portion cups, and she's like, and now you just have little snacks anytime you want hamburger,
hamburger meat?
Yeah. I was like, you're weird, lady.
I don't know. I've had that thought sometimes though, like about like Taco Bell taco meat, where I'm like, I just want the taco meat. I don't really want the tacos. So I've thought about like going there and just asking for like a bowl of taco meat.
I feel like that's maybe a little more acceptable because it's like seasoning.
No, it's not. That's gross. It's not even real meat.
I was giving him the benefit of the doubt. It's weird, okay? But
How is it weird to eat it by itself, but it's not weird to eat it on a tortilla?
Because it's weird.
But then,
And it's not even real meat. It's like goopy meat.
but then you shouldn't eat it at all. Is my point.
Well, no, you eat it on things. It's like you know, it's
How
like,
is it
that makes it
different?
better.
it's like refried beans. Whenever you have refried beans at a Mexican restaurant, you don't just spoon the beans into your mouth.
Yes, I
you
do.
mix them into things.
You've eaten Mexican food with me before. I feel like that's a personal attack.
No, but it's just weird. You don't eat refried beans just by themselves. You mix them onto a tortilla.
feel like you're the weird
or
one.
with your rice. I'm not the weird one. I
I
guarantee.
agree with you. Everything, if I go to a Mexican restaurant, everything on my plate just gets mixed together.
Well, not just. I'm just talking about when have you ever just sat down and ate a bowl of refried beans? Pinto
never.
beans, sure. You know, like spiced beans or
like black
charro
eyed
beans
peas or something.
No.
When I was a kid, I used
no,
to.
what is
get-
wrong? How white are you?
When- me?
Black-eyed peas?
Yeah.
Those taste like shit.
When I was a kid and I would go to visit my mom, she would make Mexican food all the time. We'd have leftover refried beans the next day for lunch. I'd get them. I'd put like cheese and sour cream and salsa on it and just mix it up and just fucking go to town.
Yeah,
It was
that's
great.
not refried
Well, that's
beans.
kinda- but
That's
that's
mixed
like-
all. No, it's mixed all together with cheese and shit. It's
You
not just
basically
straight
made
refried
7-layer dip,
beans.
is what it sounds like.
Oh, maybe.
You just
Yeah.
proved my point.
But I would just eat it by itself.
Look at
Yeah,
you.
but
You're
you're
a little
mixing
chef.
a bunch of shit
I mean, but I
together.
could just eat it without the other shit.
But you didn't.
But I could.
But you didn't.
Well, that's because like if I have the opportunity to make something like that's great even better, I'm gonna go with the even better route because I'm human and I'm full of lust.
Sure, but you still didn't eat refried beans by themselves.
I do at the Mexican restaurants all the time now. You see.
I'm trying to think, and I don't think you do. I think you mix it with stuff. Usually on your fork, it's beans, enchilada, rice in your mouth, or
Not
beans.
enchilada. Enchilada's always good.
Okay,
by
Do you
maybe
make
not
it a point
enchilada.
to look at his fork? Like you're looking at the layers?
Well,
But he's right. You're right. I guess that's fair. I do like usually mix it up with rice, and then like if there's a lettuce and like
yeah,
sour cream
or
and
even
stuff.
like a tortilla, whatever it is.
Man, I'm really sad that Casa Garcia has like ruined itself for me.
Yeah, well, that's just because you got sick the one time.
I know, but like every time I'm just
Yeah, but Herbert's is just as good. Actually, Herbert's is better.
I haven't been. Every time I try to go to Herbert's, it's busy.
Well, that's because you go like at 6 p.m. Go at like 3 when Whitney and I go and eat, and there's nobody there.
Oh, okay.
You can't go at dinner time. You got to go to like the early bird special.
Exactly. Nobody's there except old people.
If you guys haven't listened to us before, we are a podcast about video games. We record weekly, and we're up between Wednesday and Friday. More often than not, Wednesday. If you look at our feed, it says in the last like 6 months, Wednesday.
Look at us being consistent.
Sort of.
We start the show with the same segment every
Ish.
single week. Chris, what are you playing?
Anthem.
Yeah, that's why I chose you first, because I figured you had a lot to say.
Yeah, sort of. I mean, without anybody else playing it, I can have a conversation with myself, I guess.
I mean, people ask you questions. It's not like you're just talking to yourself. When
Sure, I
when
guess.
you play something the rest of us haven't played.
Yeah, sure, I guess. But Anthem, I went ahead and signed up for EA Premiere on PC so I could just play early. And I'm trying really hard not to get through it. Because Trey saw me the other day. He's like, "How come you're not playing Anthem?" I was like, "Well, number one, I wanted to watch Umbrella Academy, and number two, I really, really, really don't want to finish Anthem on PC because then it might be like tainted when we all play together on PS4. I don't know. It probably won't be tainted. I'm having a shit ton of fun, so I'm not gonna. It's not like I'm getting burned out of Anthem before we even all start playing on our main platform, right?
For a second, my stomach kind of dropped. I was like, it doesn't come out till this Friday, right?
No.
Well, I meant, but for PlayStation.
No, technically the game doesn't release till for Friday because it like on Xbox you have the 10-hour trial. It's an early access right now. The actual release is Friday.
Yeah,
it's just dumb EA, whatever EA wanted to do there. They just wanted to promote their own service, and it worked on me because I have $15. I have disposable income, so I spent $15 to play it early.
I'm an adult.
Yeah, it doesn't run real well on my computer because my computer's starting to show its age. I think my computer's like 7 years old. So it's a 970 GTX. It's a 2 gig card, only 8 gigs of RAM. So after 7 years, it's finally starting to show its age. I can't run Anthem on high or anything like that. And it shows. It's not very pretty on low settings. I mean, it is.
Are you going to start replacing parts in your computer?
No, because I just don't play on my PC as much. My PC's still there for Star Wars: The Old Republic, ESO, which all run perfectly fine on microwaves. No, I don't think so. Unless something comes out that's PC exclusive that's like, oh, we have to play this all together, then maybe.
Yeah.
But no, it's really fucking good. I'm having a shit ton of fun with it. It's just as fun as the demo was, just as fun as both open betas or whatever the hell they were called. It was. There's a shit ton of bugs. But, I mean, what game doesn't have a shit ton of bugs at on launch?
It doesn't even have its day one patch yet. So.
No, it doesn't. Yeah, because it's not out yet.
Yeah.
Technically, the game is literally not out yet. It's just an early access. Yeah, there's a shit ton of bugs. I guess I'm lucky enough that I haven't run into as many that people complain about. I think one of the biggest one is loading times. And I have a really shitty computer to run Anthem on, and my loading times aren't anywhere near as bad as people are claiming them to be. I think people on the internet are exaggerating really hard because, like I said, I'm running off of a hard drive, so I'm not even running off an SSD, and I'm running on everything's on low because it has to be. I can't.
Well, I wonder if that has something to do with it.
Maybe.
I feel like if you were running it slightly higher, your loading times would be worse.
Sure, but why the hell are people trying to run a game on high when their computer can't handle it?
Right.
That's your own damn fault you can't complain about load times then.
Well, at least
you just can't.
At least it's loading, Like I was, whenever I was trying to play during the beta, it was like, and restart.
Yeah, I see people complaining all the time. It's like, I spent 2 hours playing Anthem, and 60% of that was load time. It's like, so really, an hour and a half of your Anthem experience was load time? I have a really hard time believing that.
Right. I've seen you adamantly defending Anthem on Twitter.
I'm not defending Anthem in any way, shape, or form.
Defending a game that people are judging before they play.
That's still not the point.
How's that?
The point is the judgment of games before anybody even plays them.
I feel like that's what I just said.
No, because I'm not defending Anthem.
Okay.
Anthem's not in a good state right now. It's just not. It's buggy. It's the load times, and there are a shit ton of load screens. There's probably a lot of load screens that don't need to be there. Comparing it to people are like, these load times are ridiculous, and these are like Destiny players. It's like, yeah, let's talk about the load times in Destiny. They just hide load times behind your really pretty ship flying above a planet, so it doesn't seem like load times. But from a mechanic standpoint, Anthem's on point. It's just a shit ton of fun to play this game. But there are things that are quality of life things that are just like, God damn, man, why the fuck didn't anybody think about this at BioWare? Or maybe they did, and it's just not ready for it, or whatever it is. Day one patch, I was reading the leaked patch notes, and it fixes a lot of things that are really shitty about the game. Load times, still enemies just disappearing out of nowhere when you're going to fight them. Audio issues where the audio will just drop out and you have to restart the entire game, which is really frustrating. Let's see what else have we seen so far.
I've seen it was a very popular or a highly upvoted post on Anthem subreddit, and someone talked about how there's a lot of mechanics in the game that aren't fully explained.
Sure,
I'm trying to think of an example.
Well, no, okay. So there are plenty of components. There's parts to your javelin that you get. You have 6 component slots, and they all modify something about your build. And what it'll say is 35% more damage to blast damage. It's like, okay, well, what does blast damage? So then you go and you start reading so much shit, and it's like, I don't see anything described as blast damage anywhere.
So what is blast?
So what the fuck is blast damage? Or like the thing that draws, or the best part about Anthem's gameplay is the combo system. It's priming something and detonating it, and having 4 people all doing that simultaneously and working with each other is one of the coolest fucking feelings ever in a video game. Like, I honestly believe, as far as a co-op game goes, Anthem is one of the best that's ever been designed. Because of that, you're always consistently talking and working. It's like, okay, left group is primed. Boom, detonated. Move to the right. Boom, holy shit, giant turret. Turret's primed. Go crazy. You know, it's like, it's so fucking cool. And when you see, you know, it's kind of cheesy, but when you see combo pop up on your screen over and over and over again, and it makes this really cool, like, shing noise when a combo happens, and you hear it all the time, it's just super fucking cool. Hands down, Anthem, in my opinion, is one of the greatest co-op games ever made. And I literally mean that. Like, compared to every co-op game that's ever come out, I really, really think Anthem nailed it. Yeah, they don't explain that. There's no like tutorial in the game that explains combo. So Dan and I were playing with these randos the other day, and they're just like sitting in the back shooting with their guns, and we're like, hey, what are you guys doing? Like, this left group is primed, and we get what does that mean? It's like, you guys, I mean, they were like level 16. It's like, what do you mean? What does that mean? They were like, well, and so we started explaining priming and detonation to them, and they're like, oh, that's what all that means. It's like, oh my God. There's people playing this game for 16 levels already, and they have no idea that's what their abilities are for.
Yeah.
And that's bad game design. Well, it's not bad game design. It's bad.
No, that is bad game
design.
Yeah. And I feel like that was the same problem that happened in Mass Effect Andromeda, where it's like, I don't feel like they ever properly explain it to you, but that system makes a huge difference in how you take down enemies. So I can imagine in a co-op, you know, a shared world shooter, that being an issue, them not explaining it and people being confused.
Sure, yeah.
Especially when, like, one of the problems that you have when you put a gun in someone's hand is that's
all they want to do.
Well, the thought is the gun is the most important thing,
right?
Like, especially with BioWare's shooters, like up until Mass Effect Andromeda, like powers were just kind of like extra to the gun.
Sure.
So I could see why people are still confused about that, but that seems like something you'd want to clear up, because, like, especially with the
100%.
Storm. With the Storm, you know, watching people play the Storm, it's like, oh, there's absolutely no reason to ever shoot.
No reason to shoot my gun. Like, I'm playing my Storm's, I guess, my main, and I rarely, like, I can go an entire fight without ever shooting my gun, because of the way I'm building my Storm. There are guns later on in the game that are masterwork and like legendary, basically exotic guns, that give me elemental buffs if I hit those things. Like, if I unload, like, there's an auto rifle. Could be wrong because I haven't got it, but I think there's an auto rifle that if you get 5 shots, your elemental damage is buffed for 5 seconds. Okay. So you go boom, 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 and then start raining down elemental shit. Exactly, which changes up the way you play.
Yeah, just adds another aspect.
Yeah,
to it.
Exactly. Anyway, the Twitter thing, it's all a matter of judging a game before you even play it, and the problem is that like most of the internet are sheep. So they follow whatever their favorite YouTuber or Twitch streamer says. Oh, this game is shit. I believe it's shit. But that, you know, maybe their viewpoints line up.
Right. They could play it and agree with them.
Sure, 100%. But I would guess, for the most part, you know, Anthem's just core mechanics and the way it's played. You can't not play this game and at least have fun doing it. So I have a really hard time when people are like, yeah, this game's shit. It's like, but you haven't even played the game. It's not a matter of defending the game, because the game is, you know, it's great. It's so much fun. I can't wait to buy it on PlayStation, even though I have it on PC. But it's still not. It's just where every fucking MMO is on day one. You know, WoW, ESO, Destiny, Division 1, probably Division 2. Like, all these games, when they come out day one, they're not amazing. It takes 6 months to a year for them to get amazing. And that really sucks. But the thing is that at least at least the games that shine through are the games that have a good core base to them. Does that make sense? Destiny shined through because Destiny has amazing gunplay, and that's never changed. But they took fan feedback and made Destiny better, and then they ruined it again with Forsaken. But like Division had a good base to it. The core base mechanics of Division were fucking amazing. And what they did is they took their entire community and made it better. BioWare's going to do the exact same thing. BioWare's made a hands down better game than Destiny or Division. And hopefully they take their community's feedback, not just streamers and YouTubers, and they make it better. That's kind of, at least in my head, that's kind of an advantage that live service games have, that they consistently can be better. So you think of like, what's just a really bad game? Homefront Revolution.
There you go.
Homefront Revolution is just a really bad game. If it came out as a live service game and fans got to give those developers feedback after 6 months, Homefront Revolution might have been good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it wasn't a live game. It was a single player experience that when you play it, you're done. $60, you're done.
Right. You have the luxury of basically having playtesters for unlimited amount of time.
Sure, and if you look at that, you can totally look at that two different ways, right? It's like, oh, well, they shouldn't put this game out if it's in this state. It's like, sure, I totally see that, but you're also going to get a game in a year where you can buy it for $30 and you're going to get a fucking amazing game in a year. You know what I mean? It's just the way you look at it. That's, half glass full, half glass half empty. Half glass full. Nope. Glass half full, glass half empty. It's the way you look at it, right? I prefer to look at live service games as half full, especially when you can see that it has so much potential. But yeah, that's my big. That's what the whole Twitter thing was about. I fucking hate people, especially even YouTubers. It's like, don't buy this game. It's like, who are you to tell people what to buy and not buy? You're not a professional. You got lucky because you're an asshole on the internet and people ended up liking you. And that's all the internet is negativity. YouTube is nothing but negativity. Yeah. You go and look at anybody's YouTube channels, for the most part, especially if they're about video games, and you look at their negative videos and their positive videos, the negative videos have infinitely more likes than the positive videos do.
Well, I think too, like if you look at pretty much anything, like if you look at reviews for anything, people are more inclined to give their negative input on something rather than a positive thing.
Sure.
If I enjoy something, or if the average person enjoys something, they're usually not going to go and say like, hey, it was really good. They're just going to continue enjoying it.
I don't think that's true. I think they're more willing to give a review that's in line with public opinion, because there's games out there like Spider-Man and Red Dead and God of War that I've never seen anything negative said anything about any of those games on YouTube. But then you look at games like Anthem and Mass Effect Andromeda and Destiny 2, and it's like it's really easy to find negative shit on there because it has a lot of negative public opinion. I don't know. That's just my theory.
Well, no, that's not a theory. Sure, I guess it is a theory because there's no scientific way to prove that. Yeah. But I think it's a theory that would 100% hold up. Like YouTube content creators don't get rich off of positive videos.
No,
they don't. PewDiePie didn't get rich off of positive videos. Paul didn't get rich off of positive videos. These content creators for video gamers, they don't get rich off of positive. Angry Joe doesn't have 5 million followers because he's a positive person on the internet. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like right. It's just complete negativity. And it's just it's really annoying because it's like Trey was saying at one point, you can't like anything anymore.
No,
you can't.
That's true.
You cannot like anything. And if you do like it, they ask you to justify it. And when your justification is because I do, well, you're a fucking idiot for just liking it.
It's funny because it sent me down this interesting YouTube rabbit hole lately.
Excuse me. Sorry.
Where instead of just going and like seeing what the average person thinks about a game, I'm more going and finding like these in-depth lore videos or people breaking like.
Sure.
I found a video yesterday of this guy that I sent the video to Chris where he took Dark Souls and Bloodborne and he talked about how Dark Souls is a game that really embraces the classic mythological storytelling structure and how Bloodborne inverts that. And it's like that shit is really cool because I don't have to sit there and feel bad about the fact that I like these games.
That you like them, exactly.
Yeah, or like I'll find these videos on Resident Evil and see people breaking down stuff like that, or talking about like how mechanics in the new game can hint towards something in the future. And it's like those videos are fine because again, there's no opinions. But the second I go and watch an opinion video about anything, I'm like, oh, I suck for liking this.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And that was the whole thing with the Twitter stuff too. It's like, listen, I'm not fucking telling you can't not like something, especially that one guy. It's like, but you have you have 20,000 people following you.
That's a decent amount of followers.
Yeah, a decent amount of followers. It's like, dude, I understand you want to voice your opinion, go for it. But don't fucking, it's one of those things that's like you have influence on the internet. And whether you want to believe it or not, 10 to 20% of those people are going to listen to you no matter what. Mm-hmm. And, that's not your fault. But it is your responsibility for cultivating a fucking culture, and you're cultivating a culture of pure negativity. That's what he was based off of. Division 1, God, he's so informative because he's great at figuring out the technical side of that game. But he's so fucking negative about everything.
Is this Skill Up?
No, it's Marco style. Skill Up's starting to be the same way. Yeah. They're so negative about everything, but that's what gets them views. And that's the thing is like, sure, you're not responsible for your followers. You're not 100%. I'm not responsible for anything Twin Stickies do.
Twin Stickers.
I'm not responsible for anything Damien does. You know what I mean? But it is our job to cultivate a positive atmosphere within our community.
Right.
It just is. And if you're not doing that, then, you're just being a bad human being on the internet, like most people. And that's what bothers me the most, because you're basically taking away the free will of your followring. You're not actually doing it, but in essence you are.
You're influencing.
You're influencing them, and you're taking away something that could possibly bring joy into their life by saying that you don't like it, instead of saying, hey, it wasn't for me, but totally try it out for yourself. Well, especially with Anthem, it's $5 and you can just try it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The Anthem's in a really, really unique spot. Like with the whole early access shit was just ridiculous. It's fucking dumb that PC had, whatever. All of that's dumb, and that's all EA's fault. But it's actually pretty consumer friendly because you only have to pay $5 and you can try Anthem for 10 hours. Mm-hmm. You're going to know whether or not you like this game in 10 hours. You just are.
Right.
And that's really fucking cool. You don't get that. Hey, man, I think I want to try Resident Evil 2. Oh, well, that's $60. Well, can I just pay $5 to try it? No, it's $60. Oh, well, okay, then I guess I won't ever try it because I don't have that money.
But that kind of speaks to their confidence that people will enjoy this, Like,
yeah, sure.
If I'm confident enough, like, hey, you're going to enjoy this so much, just pay a small fee basically to use it.
Sure.
And 10 hours.
Sure. I have a hard time thinking anybody who gets it won't not like it. Mm-hmm. That's a double negative. But it's really hard not to enjoy just like that 20-second gameplay loop that Anthem just nails.
Right. I think
it's a shit ton of fun.
Yeah, I think if you try it, you'll either enjoy it enough to where you'll want to keep going, or you'll enjoy it and just be like, okay, I get it.
I got
and
it.
I'm done.
Exactly.
With it, you know?
But at least form your own damn opinion about it. That's the biggest thing. Form your own opinion and stop listening to Angry Joe. Stop listening to the negative people on the internet. Just stop. Because it's not worth it. It's not worth it getting on a negative bandwagon and making other people feel like shit because they like something that you don't.
Right.
It's the worst thing in the fucking world, and that's all the internet is.
Just listen to us saying form your own opinion. Now don't listen to anything else.
Yeah, exactly. If we influence you at all, which we should.
Stop it.
Stop. No. But, sorry, rant aside, I really, really, really fucking like Anthem. Like a lot. I think we're gonna have. I think I'm gonna have a shit ton of fun in it. I don't want to say we because I don't know where you guys are, but I think I'm gonna have a shit ton of fun in it because it's just. It's got just the 20-second gameplay loop. It's like, why did I keep playing Destiny? Because the 20-second gameplay loop was a shit ton of fun.
Yeah,
always was, always will be. And the thing with Destiny is, it got to a point where it's like, why am I playing? We ask that all the fucking time. Why the hell am I playing Destiny? Well, because it's fun and I'm playing with my friends. Okay, that's good enough until it's not good enough anymore, right? Mm-hmm. Anthem, at least everything that you do is always rewarding you in playing.
Yeah.
Plus, you're playing with your friends. Well, plus, it's fun.
I'm fairly hopeful about that because there are ways that they sort of have adjusted that in ways that Destiny didn't. However, I think the real sign of that is once you hit end game, because I think that was the problem with Destiny, where it's like the gameplay was fun and it kept us coming back. Our friends were playing it, that was great, but the amount of rewards that existed at the end of the game was a huge issue, and the way the progression worked at the end of the game was a huge issue. So I'll be interested to see how Anthem subverts that, if it does. Because I think that it's just as likely to run into that same issue, but I think it'll survive way longer than Destiny did, because it's not a sequel to a game that we've been playing for 3 years. You know?
And that's the thing too, right? Is that if you follow YouTubers and Twitch streamers, they're done. There's some of them are still playing because they just really like playing it, but for the most part, they're done. But they also played 15 hours on the first day it came out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's another thing with Twitch and YouTubers. Like, you can't form an opinion about how long a game is based on their experience. You just can't, because they're playing for 10 to 15 hours a day. I'm 22 hours into Anthem on PC. For all intents and purposes, I should be done with it by now, and I'm not. But Twitch streamers were finishing in 10 to 15 hours. And then, 20 hours in, they're already like fully master worked out, going into Grandmaster difficulty. 21 hours into this game and I'm level 19. I haven't even hit max level yet.
Well, I think people have to realize, too, the way that you play a game on stream is totally different than how you'd play it in real life.
Well, I think it's not necessarily. Like, I could totally see myself playing Anthem for 15 hours straight, but I'm not going to rush through the content to get to endgame.
Right. Well, and that's what I meant. Like, if you're playing on stream, you're trying to get to the end as fast as you can. You want to be the first person on Twitch
most
playing
of them,
in-game.
not all of them.
You want to be milking this content.
Sure, most of them, not all of them.
Right.
Yeah. No, I get that. But yeah, and if it's taken me 21 hours just to get to level, I'm not even level 20 yet. Then I'd say that's probably another 10 hours before I'm level 30.
Yeah.
So that's 30 hours worth of gameplay. Then there's a matter of going and starting to get like masterwork and purple stuff. Could be another 20. I don't know. Could be a long fucking time. I have no clue.
Yeah, and none of that was to say like, oh, like the game could be bad. I think regardless of, I think the end game is going to be really important.
Sure.
But I think it's going to be, at least the way that I'm looking at it, and I can't speak for everyone else, this to me is more of a hint of what the end game will look like.
Sure.
As the game progresses more.
Sure.
I'm not expecting much to be there, and it sounds like there's more than a lot of other games have, but I'm not expecting it to be super,
especially on day one.
Yeah, I'm not expecting it on day one to be super deep or whatever. But I think that you can going back to Destiny 1, playing through that game and finishing it, and then watching that grind for hours for exotics or for legendary armor, and seeing that power or light level back then slowly climb up. That is exactly what that game has been for 5 years.
Sure.
And the fact that people are still surprised about it is interesting. I think Destiny 2, the thing that sucked about it was the way they handled it. It was worse than they handled it in Destiny 1.
Sure.
But that game, that is how that game works. That's what that game is.
And that's how Anthem works too.
And so with Anthem, I want to see like, okay, well, what is this? And then how are you going to supplement that experience over the course of the next year or whatever?
And the difference between Destiny and Anthem is Destiny, you could only do one thing, Vault of Glass. That's literally the only thing you could do to raise that light level past where the cap was. In Anthem, you can go do whatever the hell you want.
Yeah.
Go do free play, go do missions, go do strongholds, go do whatever. I read somewhere on either Twitter or somebody, they said Grandmaster 2, like there's your raids. That took a normally 20-minute stronghold and turned it into a 2-hour mission.
Yeah.
And it adds, not giant mechanics, but it adds mechanics to the boss battles and actual just battles in general that you have to work as a team to get through it. So
more strategy.
Yeah, more strategy. So there's, you want raids that Grandmaster 2 and Grandmaster 3 are kind of your raid level stuff. If it takes a 20-minute stronghold and turns it into a 2-hour stronghold because of the idea that you have to work together and, do whatever. It's not raid mechanics like WoW or even Destiny, but at least I'm not throwing a ball, for 2 hours in a fucking whatever that race thing was we did in Destiny. Yeah. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for it. If that makes me a fucking EA shill, so be it. If that makes me a bad person, so fucking be it. But I'm really excited about it.
You're damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Also super excited about like you said, it's all about the end game, right? But if the end game isn't like it does. If it doesn't satiate that need, Division still comes out in like
Yeah,
a month.
no.
And there's no reason in the world why I or we can't. Hey, let's play Division this weekend, or hey, let's play Anthem this weekend.
That's sort of what I expect to happen.
Yeah.
I expect to play Anthem, get really into it, get to the end game, be like, oh man, there's not a lot going on here, and then like a week later,
there is a
Division
lot
comes
going
out.
on.
Well, I mean, just in the sense that like.
Because we're not going to get 60 hours in the first weekend like most of these guys.
No, I
have.
know, but I just don't. I'm not expecting, and maybe my expectations will be completely destroyed. But I'm not expecting there to be like a whole shit ton of new unique content or things to do like for 100 hours at the end of the end game. And that's nothing against Anthem. That's just this is the world that we live in where we don't get like where MMOs come out and they don't have complete end games because they've been working on the pregame. You know?
Sure.
You don't get a full year's or 2 years worth of content
Yeah.
on release.
Sure.
But with Anthem, I know that
At least in the first month, we're getting it.
I know that Division comes out like a week or two later, and then within the first month, we're getting more in-game content. So I really see myself going
Back
to
and
Division,
forth.
probably playing Division enough and being like, oh, this isn't really for me. Because as much as I want Division to be for me, it just wasn't the first time around. So I'm not expecting it to be the second
I
time
don't
around.
think this one is either.
And then by the time that I'm sort of done with Division 2, like Anthem will have more shit to do, and
Actually,
I'll be happy.
it might be. You have to play as a sniper in Division.
I
you're
think
not
so.
gonna like Division if you're not playing a sniper.
I'm really gonna give it a shot this time around and like put more time into it. Because with Division, I kind of just gave up because I couldn't play with you.
Sure.
And I did like it. I thought it was a great game. But
Yeah, I just have the way I saw Daniel playing Division. You and Daniel don't have similar play styles, but I think you both enjoy the same type of stuff.
Yeah.
And he just wasn't enjoying his time, but I think it was because of he tried to play Division like he plays every other game.
Yeah.
Playing Anthem with Daniel, it's like, hey, where are you? And I look down and he's got his shield up, just fucking running people over.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, well, that's Daniel. You can't do that in Division. You just can't.
Yeah.
You cannot do that. Even with the shield in Division, you can't do that. So much more tactical. And I think you'll like that. But I also think that the TTK on players is so quick that you are going to want to stay in the back and boom, headshot.
The
boom,
one thing
headshot,
that
boom,
always
headshot.
stops me from like being reckless is a sniper.
Good Lord. Jesus Christ.
Sorry,
Trey.
that'll wake you up.
There's a class for that, so
It's true.
yeah.
Anyway, that's what
Sorry.
I'm playing. Anthem.
There you go. All that to say,
Yeah. Justin, what are you
Anthem.
playing?
I am this close from beating Kingdom Hearts. I'm
What about
literally.
Red Dead Redemption.
I'm going. So
Nope.
I'm
Red Dead
finishing
Redemption.
Kingdom Hearts
No,
tonight.
No, you're not. Because Anthem comes out on Friday.
I'm finishing
and I
Kingdom
know
Hearts
you're getting
tonight.
it.
I'm finishing Kingdom Hearts tonight, and then I'm finishing Red Dead before Anthem comes
No, you're
out.
not.
You
100%
said that I wasn't going to finish Kingdom Hearts, and I'm literally if we would have recorded maybe 30 minutes later today, I'd be done.
But I wasn't as adamant about Kingdom Hearts as I am about Red Dead.
I hate you.
Okay, just saying. I'm okay with that. There's a lot of people in this world that hate me.
Well, that's fair. Yeah,
I'm
Kingdom Hearts.
comfortable with your hatred.
It's been really fun getting to this final
It's good, isn't it?
world. Oh man, like the story really picks up,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like like I said, if we were recording maybe 30 minutes later, I would have just stayed home and just finished it.
Sure. No, the last boss battle takes about an hour.
Really?
Yeah.
Because I
Are you playing on super hardcore or whatever that mode's called?
there's standard. Well, there's
What mode are you
beginner.
playing on?
Just standard.
There you go. So maybe it won't take him as long.
It'll take about an hour.
You think so?
Yes.
Even
The
the
very last boss fight takes about an hour.
Jesus, I've done a lot to get to that fight. I think.
Where are you at?
Um,
Neither one of these people care. I guarantee it.
Spoilers for anyone who's listening. I just defeated Xemnas and Amnes or
Okay.
Ansem.
Sure. Final
And,
boss fight takes about an hour.
Christ. Okay, well, good to know. So if we were recorded an hour later,
No, then
Then
you
I'd
got
be
about
done.
30 minutes of cutscenes at the end.
fair.
Yeah, so you got about an hour and a half to 2 hours left in that game.
Cool. Yeah, it's been really fun. And what about you, Trey?
I played 3 games this week. I played a little bit of Apex Legends. It's fine. It's Titan. It has Titanfall's movement a little bit without the wall running and the grappling hook. Although one character does have a grappling hook.
Surprise,
The zip
surprise.
lines,
Yeah,
Surprise, surprise. It feels like Titanfall.
yeah. I mean, so it feels really good. Guns feel good. I think a couple of things that are keeping me from like really getting into it right now is the fact that the hero system feels completely unnecessary because there's only 8 heroes. I also think that some heroes are just way better than others. Like, Zipline, you can throw down you can throw down like a super zip line that everyone can use, which I guess is somewhat helpful. But then there's a fucking guy that can like call down an airstrike on people.
Yeah.
Or there's a chick that like her regular ability is just to heal. Her name's Lifeline, so she just throws out this drone and heals you. Her super ability is to call down like a just gear, just high powered gear. So she charges it up and she can just drop it. So it's like, okay, well, I really like playing this character because I like how he has the grappling hook. But am I doing a bad thing for my team by not playing one of these other characters that has a ridiculous super? And I don't think that, I don't know. It's not that they're unbalanced or anything. It's just that like some characters need to be balanced up to the others. Because if you want to give one hero the ability to call down an airstrike on people, then every hero should have an ability that's somewhat equivalent. But also the fact that there are only 8 heroes is an issue because it's just not, there's not a lot of diversity in play. Like you see the same characters all the time and you see some characters hardly ever, which means like not only is your full roster not being used, but also there's no diversity in game and you might as well just be playing PUBG or whatever.
That's fair. So I haven't played it yet, but Taylor really wants me to. Something I like about this that he was explaining to me more than other Battle Royale games is even if you get like outright killed, you can still go and pick up your teammates' tags and then like respawn them at like a different drop point.
Yeah, but one of the biggest problems with this game, it makes sense for the kind of game that it is, but I think this is a problem, regardless. One, the armor system's ridiculous. Like it gets to a point where like you're emptying 2 or 3 clips on an enemy and they're not dying. But also this game is very team shoot focused. If one person is shooting at one person and another person joins in, that one person is fucked. It doesn't matter if they started first. Heroes feel too beefy because it feels like they're meant to be shot at by multiple people, but that also puts you at a huge disadvantage in a one-on-one fight where a team's nearby. So yes, you can go and pick up someone's thing and you can call them back into the game, which is a huge change from other Battle Royale games. However, chances are by the time that you pick that up and on your way to a respawn beacon, you're probably going to die because there are more enemies nearby and you're just going to be outnumbered. Like there's not really a fair shot when one person runs up on a team of 3, even if they catch the whole team off guard. Because as soon as someone starts getting shot at, they're like, oh, we're all just going to shoot. And you're down quickly, and the guy that you started shooting 10 minutes ago is still alive,
right.
So it's cool. It's a nice thing, but I think that the time to kill takes too long unless it's team shooting. And I think that's something that needs to be looked at. But it's also, I'm getting more in line with the idea that Battle Royale games shouldn't have an armor system. Because it seems ridiculous that just based off of RNG, one person can be more survivable than another person.
Right.
I found legendary armor, so I'm more survivable. You didn't find any because, you happened to drop in on the other side of the map. Now you can't kill me because I have too much health. And, I'm just going to out-survive you anyways. It seems silly to me. And I know that there's this whole thing about skill and all that, but when you start throwing RNG into a system, skill doesn't matter.
Well, especially for armor. Like, I feel like for weapons, even if you have a really bad weapon in Fortnite or PUBG, I don't know about Apex, but, like, if you can outskill somebody, you can still probably beat them. But if someone just has a shit ton of armor and you can't do anything about it, then you're just kind of shit out of luck.
And this game also has a shield system, which I don't know, like, how the shield and armor system, like, differentiates. I think shields might protect you from energy weapons, whereas armor protects you from ballistic, but I don't know for sure because, again, like, this is another game that doesn't explain a whole lot. So there's a lot of systems I just don't get.
This is why I don't envy PvP developers.
Because there's a lot to take into account.
Well, you if you're going to be a PvP developer, you basically take away at some point in time you end up having to take away players' feeling of power. You just have to, because the guy with the airstrike, if it's bad enough, at some point in time they're going to nerf the airstrike.
Yeah,
because it's just bad, and the people that really like that are going to feel less powerful, and it really sucks. Destiny's the same way. Destiny without a PvP system would probably be one of the best games on the fucking market right now. Period. It'd probably be one of the best multiplayer MMOs or whatever you want to call ever. But since it has PvP, you've got this idea that it's like, well, we got to keep nerfing all this shit. You got you have the Nova Warp for the Void Warlock. When that first came out in Forsaken, I was like, this is the coolest fucking super in the world. Where you do the thing and you're floating and you kind of, when you do the burst thing. And I was like, this is way cooler. I love this more than Void Bomb, and I love this more than what's the other Void one? Whatever.
Yeah.
I guess that's it. Anyway.
Yeah.
I just fucking love it. I think it's amazing. And then this last patch update, it was too much in PvP. So now when you do the whoof thing, you don't do it as much, and it takes more super, and the timer, you're in your super less. So it's like, well, every ounce of power that I ever felt as that Voidwalker,
Well-
you just took away because of PvP.
Well, and that's the thing though. With
It really sucks.
With a full PvP or a full PvE game, the idea shouldn't be to nerf. The idea it should be to scale up. You know, if you want.
How are you going to scale a zip line?
Well, that's my problem. Like with a zip line, you just replace the power.
2 zip lines.
You replace, you replace the power and you scale it up to whatever the highest bar is. But with a PvE and PvP mixed game, you have to like scale down because then you're ruining the PvE side of things, right?
Sure.
If they scaled every super up to match the best super, then
Sure.
PvE would not be a thing.
Yeah, which is why normalization is not. Division I think is going to nail it because PvP is normalized. So you can feel as powerful as you want in your PvE, and you can give players crazy amounts of power, but in PvP they're still all normalized, so it's fine.
It just comes down to skill.
Yeah, and then Anthem just doesn't have PvP, so dude, there's fucking A, man. I've been watching like high level Colossus shit, and it's like they're invincible. They're literally invincible in some instances, and that's okay.
Yeah.
100% okay in a PvE game.
Because they're on your team, so
Yep.
you're good to
Yeah,
go.
Exactly.
The next thing I played was Resident Evil Remake 2.
How's that?
It's a great fucking game. It's too much for me. Like I took it back yesterday. I was like, it's too much. I
Weenie.
think it's
Like
freaky.
it's too scary or what?
Well, it's not. Here's the thing about
It's
the game.
okay if it's too scary.
No, it's not. Like I think Resident Evil 7 is probably a scarier game than Resident Evil 2 remake, because of that first person perspective. I think that makes a huge difference. But the thing about Resident Evil 2, and I know 7 had this a little bit too, but with Resident Evil 2 remake, the amount of ammo that you have for your weapons is extremely limited, and it gets to the point where like the way that game is scary is the pressure of walking into a room where something scary is at and you having no way to defend yourself and not knowing when you're going to find the next stock of ammo. That's really like it's just too much. Like the pressure is too high. But man, it's beautiful. And the enemies are cool. It seems like they've added in some stuff. I don't know. I never played the first game. I don't know. It's great. And I would say for people that like that sort of style of survival horror, I think you should all give it a shot if you haven't already. But I can see why a lot of people are like, man, it's disappointing that this game came out at the beginning of the year because I feel like it's going to be forgotten about for a bunch of Game of the Award stuff at the end of the year. Just like Resident Evil 7. It's a really good game.
Yeah, it looks really nice, but I'm not big on scary games.
Yeah. The last game I played and actually beat last night was Detroit Become Human by Quantic Dream, the guys that made Heavy Rain and Beyond Two Souls. My first thought about this game is that it is shocking to me that this game didn't get more critical attention. Like, I get that it was a tough year because it came out the same year as God of War, Spider-Man, and Red Dead. But man, the story in that game is just so good. I think the worst part about that game, like if I was to say like what is like the one piece of criticism I have for it, I think it ends kind of abruptly. But aside from that, like it's just great. And the other thing about it that's cool is that they have this flowchart system. So every time that you make a decision in the game, you
It,
can
branches
see,
off.
Yeah, you can see at the end that there's like this flow chart, and it'll start branching off, and you'll see paths that you didn't unlock and things that you didn't see. But the crazy thing about that is that first of all, if you're playing on the harder mode, your characters can die, and you can lose a character as early as like the 3rd or 4th chapter. Which means that like that's a significant portion of the game that you're just not going to play, and a huge perspective that you're not going to see. But the next part about it is that your characters can end up in different places based off of your decisions. Like there's a whole ending sequence that has a completely different path that is completely locked depending on one decision that you make. And it's crazy. That's crazy to me because I think that's something that like I've wanted to see from games with choices in them for a really long time. And it's cool that Quantic Dream finally made it happen. I wouldn't say it's doing anything like super innovative. Like it's very much a Quantic Dream game. If you've played Heavy Rain and Beyond Two Souls, you know what to expect. But the thing that could have lasting effects on the industry is the way that it handles these branching paths and flowcharts. Like I could very much see BioWare sitting down and looking at the way that they handled this and being like, man, this is really interesting. Like, how can we incorporate something like this on a way reduced scale into, the next Dragon Age or the next Mass Effect? The other way it plays that it succeeds at, which we'll talk about the DICE Awards later, the fact that it didn't win the Best Animation Award is ridiculous to me, because the facial acting in this game, I mean, it's all motion capture, but the faces in this game are just fucking incredible. Like, they're the best faces I've seen in a game.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can just see all the emotion. They look like real people. It's crazy to me. Like,
Apparently you've never played Mass Effect Andromeda.
I don't know.
I have a question about
Very
the
close.
flowchart.
Yeah.
Can you see the choices before you've made them or after you've made them?
After.
Okay.
So when you look at it, it'll show you the things that you've done, and then there'll be a bunch of locked choices.
So number 2, how is that any different than any other choice-making game?
Because it can lead you down different paths. Like,
Well,
like 2 separate levels with 2 completely different objectives or things going on. Like, one of the so depending on how you make choices with one of the characters at the end of the game, light spoilers, nothing major for Detroit.
Sure.
There's
a
this
game
character
that came
named
out
Kara.
a year ago. I think
There's
you're okay.
There's this character named Kara, and depending on how you make choices at the end of the game, you can end up at like this recycling plant. You can end up trying to cross into Canada over a river, or you can end up at like this bus station on the border of Canada.
Sure, I understand.
And
all
those
that,
are all like.
But how is that different than like Heavy Rain?
Well, with Heavy Rain, and I would say Mass Effect is another example of this. They're really linear games, and what they change are certain circumstances, but they don't change the setting of where you're at.
Well,
So you're saying there's more?
it does,
bigger
because Heavy Rain
consequences?
has 8 different endings that take place in 8 different settings.
I don't know if that's true. I think they all take place at that warehouse at the end.
No, so a couple of them take place in a junkyard. One takes place in the warehouse.
Maybe, but I think the diversity in Detroit is more significant.
Sure, I
It's not just-
I understand that, but does that have anything to do with the flowchart? That just has everything to do with like, this is a game that literally does have, 100 different endings, and they're all different. But that's because they designed the game to be like that. It's no different than any other choice game.
Flowchart.
It's just more. It's just more of the choices. Does that make sense?
I don't know. I don't know that I agree with that. The flowchart is really
No,
like,
I'm not making a statement. I'm asking.
No, so the flowchart is just a way to map out what you're doing.
Sure, that's fine.
That's the sole purpose of it.
Sure.
It's not necessarily like a game mechanic. It's just be like, hey, this is what you've done. These are the paths that you did unlock and things that you can do. I think the reason why Detroit is different is that this is really the first game I've ever played where it felt like my choices were actually impacting the story.
Sure, and
because I think that with pretty much every other choice-based game up until this point, the issue is, again, that you are on a linear story.
Sure.
That you are always going to end up in the same place and the same things are going to happen. It's just little details will be changed. Whereas Detroit, like if you lose a major character within the first 5 hours of the game, that completely changes the circumstances at the end of the game.
Sure, yeah, but the core mechanics are still the same. It doesn't change the idea that it's just a choice-based game. There's just more of that.
I guess, but I think that like the two differences between that and the other choice-based games that I can just pull out of my head is that
there's more. There's more endings.
no,
and
it's
there's,
not that
there's
it's
different
more.
ways.
It's that there's actually choices.
Right, I understand.
Because
Yes.
I don't think that like I really don't think that like Mass Effect or any of the Telltale games or any of Quantic Dream's games before this, I really don't think that you actually had choices.
I 100%
think they're
agree.
all about simulating choices. And maybe Detroit is still doing that. Maybe it's simulating choices, but it doesn't feel that way.
Sure, I
I was
understand.
watching other people's endings of the games last night, and I was like, how the fuck did that even
Sure,
happen?
yeah, no, I 100% get it. Like I 1000% get it. I just, at first it sounded like it was changing the core mechanics of choice-based games. It's not. It's just adding so many choices and so many branching paths that it literally is almost impossible to have the same ending.
Well, it's just executed better.
Yeah, it's
is
just
what it sounds
executed.
like.
Yeah, they took that idea and expounded on it, and it's exactly what everybody that's wanted these choice-based games as ever wanted. Well, to
Yeah.
an extent. Yeah, that's
Espe-
great.
And it sounds like too from like what you're saying about characters possibly dying and stuff actually changing it. It
Yeah,
gives
that's
it gives
fucking great.
weight to your decisions.
Sure, that's fucking
versus
awesome.
like, oh, this character might say something differently because
yeah,
they
it's
don't
kind
like
of
you.
yeah, it's kind of like Until Dawn, right? I haven't gone all the way through Until Dawn, but I've
so good.
but I've watched it and like people dying.
Right.
You're still
There's
gonna
like an endless combination
You still
of who
end
could
up
live
in
and
the
who could
same
die.
ending.
Yeah.
you still end up in the same circumstance at the end, but characters dying drastically alter the way the ending plays out.
Yeah.
Just not.
Well,
It's not like 19 different endings.
yeah, well, and that like it's like with Detroit, there is this one level. One of the other cool things that it does is that you're playing 3 characters, and one character is just kind of doing her own thing, but the other 2 characters are directly opposed from one another. Their objectives are the exact opposite. So at one point, as Connor, you're going to investigate the scene of a crime that Marcus committed. These are 2 characters that you're playing. And depending on things that happen with Marcus, you might leave someone behind. And that person is still alive and hiding out in this building. But you go in with Connor and you're investigating this crime scene. You already know what happened as a player because you were there and you made those decisions. And as Connor, you're reacting to those decisions. But at one point, you'll have 2 different objectives where you can go to one area of this building or you can go to another. And if you go to another, you find someone else that can give you information about where Marcus is at. But if you go to the other, you find one of Marcus's key characters in his story. Like one of the most important characters in his story is there hiding out. And the way that like changes the paths after that is crazy. And the effects that it has on Connor is crazy. And the effects that it has on Marcus is crazy. There's also another moment that I love it so much. There's one moment where Marcus and Connor are having a conversation and you're controlling both of them. And so it creates this really interesting gameplay thing where one thing that you're thinking about is like, which one do you want to have the best success? Like you're almost like gaming it like that. Or is it a matter of I'm going to play these characters the way that they should be played? Or am I going to play these characters the way that I have been playing them? And so it was difficult for me because I really felt Marcus's cause, but I also like really liked Connor as a struggling character. And so it was really hard for me going down these trees where I'm talking to myself basically and trying to make sure that I'm getting the best possible outcome for both characters, which other people I could see being like, oh, Marcus is my favorite character. I'm just going to make Connor bend over and do whatever Marcus wants because, I want Marcus to win. It's a really interesting thing. And I don't know. I think another fun thing about this game real fast, just sort of the last thing is that at 2 points in the game, Quantic Dream has surveys for the players. And it'll ask questions like, do you believe that AI is going to become intelligent life? Do you believe in God? Would you date a robot if you had the chance to do it? And it's cool because it shows you all of everyone's
like the statistics.
all the
answers.
statistics. Like 63% of players said this. But then at the end, it has 3 more questions on the survey. And it's like, who's your favorite character? How impactful was this game for you? And what was the hardest decision you made in the game? And it's really cool to see, like, I thought most people were going to think that Marcus was the best character in the game, but most people said it was Connor, and I said it was Connor. And it's interesting the way that they, like, formulate data on players, because you can also see world stats on the flowcharts to see how many people made these decisions as you're going through them. At one point, it gets way unreadable because these flowcharts are fucking huge. But early on in the game, it's really interesting to see like how many people made the same decisions as you. And I would say I had like a 50% like rate of making the same decisions as everyone else.
You're like an average person, pretty much.
Yeah.
Nice.
So yeah, I think it's $20 on the PlayStation Store. If you don't like games like the Telltale games or other Quantic Dream games, you're not gonna like this one. If you have a significant other that likes to watch you play games, this is a perfect game for that. But I think if you're interested, you should give it a shot because it's a great game. But yeah,
It sounds like Ultimatum the game.
kind of, yeah.
It's my idea for D&D, right? Like you watch D&D and any D&D stream, a lot of them at least, the DM gives players the illusion of choice. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Matt does it. Covell's been doing it lately, but it gives players the illusion of choice where you feel like you have control over everything, but you don't, right? Of course, it's a DM.
Right.
But I really like this idea that I'm going to implement of ultimatums. And y'all, it's going to be two different things that you're going to have to choose from, and they're both going to lead down two different paths that I've already have planned out.
Right.
So, I guess everything would come to an end, right? It's full circle. Yeah. Everything's got to come to a point, but that ultimatum is vastly going to differ how you guys choose what's going to happen. So basically our D&D session sounds like it's going to be Detroit, the D&D session.
Yeah.
Because, there's going to be certain things it's like that I know this person is hiding in this corner, but the game's all of a sudden giving me another choice that could be equally important. You know what I mean? So it's like, well, shit, I know he's there because I played this already, but this other thing seems super important, that maybe even more important than me knowing that this person's over there. There's your ultimatum. You know, it's like, it's not an illusion of choice. That literally is an ultimatum and a choice. And that's, I just noticed a lot of D&D DMs don't do that.
They'll give you the fake.
Yeah, they very much lead kind of down where they kind of want you to go. Matt Mercer does it less than everybody else, but yeah, I really like that idea.
Yeah. You guys ready for the news?
No.
Yes.
All right.
Maybe.
First up, Anthem's Day 1 patch launches on Friday, February 22nd. The patch is wide-ranging, to say the least, but puts loading times and a bug that caused infinite loading screens right at the top. The patch will also see problems with challenge tracking. The patch will also fix problems with challenge tracking, disconnects, and crashes.
You have it right. You said it right the first time.
Okay.
Just keep reading. It all makes sense. Read ahead than what you're saying.
I always forget what I type. The patch will also see problems with challenge tracking, disconnects, and crashes addressed, as well as having modifiers for weapons and gear reflected properly.
Yeah, you know what? EA shot themselves in the foot with this early release shit. People are reviewing a game that's technically not released yet.
Right.
It's
almost like
they
a beta.
never would have even had to mention these day one patches if they just released the game like normal.
Or if
this just would have been your day one patches that literally every game, including Witcher 3, all had. But every game that comes out in the last 5 years has a day one patch.
And they already talked about somewhat of these patches. People were complaining about the beta, and it's like, we fixed it it's ready for launch, basically.
Ready for launch, right?
But it hasn't launched yet, so now people are acting like it's a full-fledged game right now.
I think I don't know, if you're gonna do this whole like early launch thing, you just need to double down on it. The day one patch should have come out when the game was available to mass audiences.
Sure.
And that sucks for people that aren't playing. But if you're gonna do this, you need to fucking hold to your guns.
Possibly. I mean, it might not have been BioWare's choice, though, so there's no guns to hold to. Does that make sense?
Well, but it's EA's choice, so what you say to your developer is, we are launching this on our service a week early. Day one patch needs to be ready a week early.
Sure, but maybe it wasn't, is my point.
Then they shouldn't have launched it.
I 100% agree. This is all 100% EA. Like, I 100% agree with you. But we're in a circumstance, no hypothetically speaking, we're in a circumstance where the game hasn't launched yet. And it's just really stupid that BioWare has to, not backtrack, but basically like defend themselves on this day one patch. It's like, well, the game's out. It's like, no, it's not out yet. And they wouldn't even have to, like I said, Witcher 3 had a day one patch. Detroit probably had a day one patch. Hell, Persona 5 had a day one patch. And this is a fucking JRPG that was finished from the fucking start, but there was a day one patch.
Yeah.
Kingdom Hearts
Every
3.
every game has a day one patch. And if day one was literally February 22nd, this wouldn't be, this wouldn't be a news.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be news.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's just annoying that it has to be. It just sucks. Because again, I am still afraid that BioWare is not going to be a thing in 2020. And that sucks.
Yeah. We'll see. The AFL-CIO, the United States' largest federation of labor unions at 12.5 million members, has put out a call to game developers to unionize. The letter, which was written by AFL-CIO Secretary-Treasurer Liz Schuler on Kotaku, is the group's first major public statement about organizing game developers. She begins by bringing up the fact that, quote, growing by double digits, U.S. video game sales reached $43 billion in 2018, and about 3.6 times greater than the film industry's record-breaking box office, end quote. These sales numbers, she adds, are, quote, built by legions of tireless game developers who have built new worlds, designed new challenges, and ushered in a new era of entertainment, ellipses. While you're creating some of the groundbreaking products of our time, Schuler writes, they're pocketing billions while you're fighting through exhaustion and putting your soul into a game. Bobby Kotick and Andrew Wilson are toasting to their success. Schuler ends by saying, quote, "Your fight is our fight, and we look forward to welcoming you into our union family. Whether we're mainlining caffeine in Santa Monica, clearing tables in Chicago, or mining coal in West Virginia, we deserve to collect nothing less than the full value of our work."
Get ready to have all the game developers in Texas.
Get ready for a bunch of game developers to go on strike.
Or have an entire development team move to Texas. Because guess who doesn't allow unions? Texas.
Does Texas not allow unions?
There's no unions in Texas.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that a thing?
Yes.
I don't know. You're looking at the wrong person.
Yeah,
Tell me, Trey.
Unions, unions
because
are only in certain states.
The thing that always throws me off is that
More
with-
forward-thinking states have unions,
What about
which is good.
well? What about like actors unions?
that's
like
what
SAG
I was
and
that's
stuff?
what I was going to say is I feel like SAG is still active in Texas, but I don't know like how they get around anything.
Sure, but that's not a. I don't necessarily. I don't think it's a Screen Actors Guild. I think they get around the union idea because of that. Does that make sense? They probably don't have as many like rights as unions have.
Well,
I would
I mean,
assume.
there's still union actors in Texas, so I just didn't know how that works. Like, I didn't know if it's
Sure,
like you have
but
to be,
like, when was the last time you saw workers go on strike in Texas? Never, because they can't.
yeah, they
I mean, they
wouldn't.
could.
I mean, they wouldn't get anything.
Yeah,
out of it, though.
no, they would be fired immediately.
Right.
That I mean, that's the whole point of a union is that workers. You know, one of the great points about a union is workers can go on strike without fear of losing their job. But in Texas, if you decide you're going to go on strike, that company's just going to fire every single one of you.
Right.
There's
Well, because
no- and
Texas
there's
is
no
what?
repercussions.
What do they call it? Right to work or freedom to work or something?
like that.
Where you can basically get fired for as long as you're not firing someone for being racist
Sure.
or anything like that.
Right,
You can
something
just
like
fire
that,
them.
yeah. Something like that. Whatever that is. But that's why you never see. That's why you never hear about unions in Texas. That's why you never see workers in Texas go on strike because it's not a thing here.
Yeah, I do think I am surprised though that there isn't already a video game industry union of like workers.
Sure.
Well,
That seems like something that would already be a thing.
There definitely should be. I think that there's been a lot of talk about this whole Activision thing from last week, and had a union existed, it would have actually been able to hold Activision accountable because it is. I still stand on the side that was normal downsizing.
Sure, of course it is.
I don't disagree with that perspective.
It just looks scummy. That's all.
It does look scummy, and I think that's something where.
That's what people don't get. I don't want to get off of that tangent, but we talked about this, and I think we were all in agreement that it is just standard business practice. But the internet just doesn't get it.
But it is. But
just looks really
it's really
scummy.
interesting because Jim Sterling did a video about it this week, and their new CFO. He makes a $900,000 salary a year and took something like 30 or 40 million worth of bonuses to sign on.
15 million.
No, but it was like combined and with with his stock options, it ended up being like 30 or 40 million dollars total.
Sure.
That he was getting to come into this work.
90% of that was stock, which is not technically real money.
I think half of it was stock.
Oh, it was
I think
half
it was
of it?
like
Okay.
21 million
Okay.
in stock. But it's crazy to me. Like, I was thinking about this, but like, how is it that, I don't know. I just feel like if I was working at any sort of business and my business relied on people that basically balanced the books and the people that made the product, I guess I would want the people that made the product to be way more fairly compensated than the people that are balancing the books, because without the product, you have nothing to sell, which means you have no books to balance.
You mean like the workers behind a cash register at GameStop that get paid minimum wage, even though they're literally the ones keeping your stores open, but you're still taking home six figures
Yeah.
in your office in Dallas?
Yeah.
I mean, it's the same thing.
And
It's all about standards. I mean, look at or like precedents. Like look at movies, for example. An amazing actor who isn't Robert Downey Jr. is going to get paid a fraction just because,
Yeah.
I
just
think
because
that's
it's accepted.
I think that's a really bad analogy because they're still getting paid millions of dollars.
No, there's actors who did like iconic roles, like Indiana Jones. I want to say he got like Harrison Ford got.
This is Harrison Ford we're talking about here.
Right,
Remember that.
Harrison Ford probably got paid like $100,000
In 1970.
regardless. Like
No,
for
that's a lot of money in 1970.
I mean, sure, but
That's
there
a shit ton of money in 1970.
don't know an example off the top of my head, but there are iconic roles that were done for almost nothing.
Sure, but
versus Iron Man
I mean,
3.
look at fucking Star Wars.
Sure, but those
Like,
but
that is,
those
that
iconic.
is basically Star Wars' description in a nutshell
Sure,
across the years.
but those iconic roles turn them into movie stars, and they're millionaires.
That's true, but
I mean,
doing it for
that's-
exposure.
That's why that's a really bad example. Like
well, but putting that into perspective of this person's getting paid millions of dollars to be an actor versus someone who's actually working really hard is only getting paid a fraction of that
well,
too.
at some point in time, Robert Downey Jr. probably took, $10 to be in a porn, and now worked his way up to Tony Stark.
Yeah.
I mean, it's that's where we're at. But like in Activision's thing, if you go back and look at the CFO's portfolio, he probably went to fucking Stanford on his parents' money, and that's the only reason he's in CFO things. Like he probably never worked a hard day in his life. Guy's probably never even picked up a freaking 4x4 of wood. Who fucking knows? I have no clue. I'm just saying that's the reality we're in here. Like actors and musicians, I think it's different because they do have to, unless you're fucking, I don't know, Kim Kardashian or whatever the hell it is. Most people have to scrape at the bottom to work their way up to $10 million contracts. The Friends cast didn't just make $1 million an episode the first season. I think they worked for fucking, I don't even know how much they worked for, but they were unknown actors. Anyway,
Yeah,
In a non-actor situation.
sure, in a non-actor situation, like I said,
It
like
just seems like if I was a stockholder of any company making any product, I would want the product to be the best it can. So,
Sure.
So the people I'd be supporting are the people making the product,
But that's just
not
not-
the people balancing the
yeah,
books.
that's not
And
the way,
just
that's not the way
something-
America works.
That's something that I don't know. It's one of those things that I'll probably never understand, but I think it has a lot to do with the fact that the people that are investing in these companies aren't investing in video games. They're investing in something that makes money.
They're investing in something that they know they're going to get a return in, because they
Yeah.
do. If I was smart, if I had billions of dollars to spend, hell yeah, I'd be investing in Activision, Blizzard, fucking EA. Hell yeah, I'd invest in those. Why the hell wouldn't I? It's guaranteed fucking money. You know what I mean? Activision, when the announcement of Blizzard, Bungie leaving, Activision stock dropped almost 10%, but it's already recovered.
Yeah.
So it's like I
Well, I mean,
wouldn't
that's
have
usually how it goes.
lost any money. Like video games are guaranteed money for stockholders.
Yeah.
It's not fucking rocket science.
It's a sad world, but I
Sure it is.
I think unionizing could have some really positive effects on the industry.
I think it could definitely have positive effects for the people in the trenches making the games.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't always agree with unions, but I think the rights that they give people are 100% on point.
I think it will be interesting though, because typically whenever unionizing starts happening, you start to see more layoffs too. Because now it's like, okay, great, you guys are part of a union.
Sure.
We can't afford all of you. So
Sure, maybe,
like that's
Maybe.
probably that's going to be an outcome of this too.
possibly.
Possibly, but I mean, if you're depending on what you do in video games, right? Like if you're a programmer, guess what? Software engineers are not in short supply, and also like
That's very true. We're also talking about this is an oversaturated industry. Everybody in the last probably 10 to 15 years went to school for fucking some sort of computer development.
science,
Computer science.
Well, there was
also, they could make these things.
Yeah, there was the boom in like the mid or like early 2000s
Sure.
where every other commercial was like, come to this school for video game
ITT Tech,
design.
blah, blah, blah. Yeah,
Everything.
100%.
Jim's video yesterday, I think he posted a statistic that we've lost like 43% of gaming jobs in the last like 10 years, but I'm sorry, not 10 years. It might have been like 5 years. But one of the interesting things that's happening is that we have a new console coming out in the next year or so. So those jobs are going to bounce back from that drop.
Sure. I've said this before. I'd never. I guess when you're like 12 and you really like video games, making video games seems like the greatest job in the fucking world. But then you get to 16 and you start researching video games and you realize this sucks. That industry would suck to fucking work in, because people are consistently getting hired, working on a game for 6 months, getting fired, getting hired at another place, completely different company, working on a game for a year and a half, and you get fired.
Yeah.
There's no job security in the video game industry, and that fucking sucks. Like, that would be the worst fucking thing to be doing with my nope. Would not like it.
I think I wanted to make video games whenever I thought it was just like, oh, I get to play video games all day.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you find out that's not how it
Sure,
works. It's
yeah.
like, oh, nah, I don't want that.
It's one of those there's one of those careers that's like, make a backup plan for real.
I don't know. I'm gonna apply for some of those jobs when I get out of college, but I'm applying with the knowledge of like first thing you do when you get one of those jobs is start saving up money to have
Sure.
an emergency fund. And then from there, it's just keeping your resume updated. Because I think it would be, I don't know, like I'd really like to work in the media side of the industry. But, you know, as sort of, I think this is my backup plan. Like maybe making games, but I don't know. It'll be, I think all it depends on where I can intern
Sure.
while I'm in college.
Not to talk down to you.
No, just think about it. I'm not talking down. Just think about it.
Right.
Fresh
Yep.
Prince of Bel Air star Alfonso Ribeiro lawsuit against Fortnite for the inclusion of the famous Carlton dance in the Battle Royale game has hit a major snag as the U.S. Copyright Office has called into question his attempt to copyright the dance. In a letter posted by The Hollywood Reporter, Saskia Florence
Who names their child that?
I don't know.
Who the fuck names their child Saskia?
Of the Copyright Office's Arts Division said Ribeiro's copyright request should be refused on the basis of the dance being a simple dance routine. Quote, the combination of 3 dance steps is a simple routine that is not registered as a choreographic work, end quote. The letter reads after laying out the specific movement.
You're having a real hard time over there, Trey.
I know.
You got
Florence
it.
then follows up on the description by refusing the registration claim. Another letter from the Copyright Office even calls into question Ribeiro's authorship of the dance, as he submitted his performance of it from the Dancing with the Stars as evidence. The Copyright Office suggested because the show normally involves its professional dancers in choreographing performances. Wow, what the fuck is wrong with me?
I don't know.
I don't know what is wrong with me.
Did you have a stroke? And just
I don't know. The Copyright Office suggested because the show normally involves its performances. Oh, I did not. That's not a complete sentence.
Nope, it's not.
Basically, the copyright isn't taking that evidence seriously because the show usually involves professional choreographers. As noted by THR, the law firm representing both Epic Games and Take-Two, who's involved. Will someone read the rest of that? I'm fucking breaking.
And as also noted by THR, the law firm representing both Epic Games and Take-Two, who is involved in the lawsuit due to the dance's use in NBA 2K series, responded saying, quote, this lawsuit suffers from a host of issues ranging from a lack of plausible ownership to a lack of substantial similarity to preemption by the Copyright Act.
Thank you.
You
nailed it.
This is what we said, right? This
The
is
entire time. This is what we
this
talked
is
about.
literally. It's like, how do you copyright a dance? Is it creative? Yes. Did it come from somebody's mind? Sure. But how do you copyright a dance?
Mhm.
Yeah.
I like how they even call into question his ownership of said dance. It's like,
Well,
you were on the show, like you don't own it.
He should have submitted the first time he ever did the Carlton dance on Fresh Prince of Bel Air.
Right.
He should have done.
Not his footage from Dancing with the Stars
which
that was a
like
callback
2 or
to
3,
the show.
Yeah, like 2 or 3 years ago. But yeah, that's what we've been saying this entire time is how the hell do you copyright a dance? You can't.
A dance like
Also,
this, which is
might
3
I
steps.
add, it's not simple. I've tried to do the Carlton dance and it's not easy. It's weird and I can't ever get the rhythm down right.
I think if you can floss,
And I can
you can
floss.
get this.
Okay. It's not simple. It's not a simple dance.
I don't know. I'm happy about this. I mean, I don't know. I'm sure there's still ways that you can appeal decisions and blah 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 blah, produce more evidence that you own something and all that. But I still believe that a world where you can copyright dances is not a world I want to live in.
Sure.
Right. And of course this loses. And
Is that the breaking point for the world that you don't want to live in?
Oh, if you can copyright dances, then what can't you copyright?
But is that really the breaking point? The fact that we have Donald Trump as president isn't the breaking point for you?
Well, Donald
It's-
Trump is temporary. Like the
Yeah,
decision
sure, I
to be
guess.
able to copyright
Yeah, that's
dances
true.
is not
No, that's true.
temporary.
Sure.
Donald Trump is temporary for now.
Should,
No, but like it's
sure, no, I get it.
it's just a world of ownership where it's like I don't know. It's this idea, right, where like I wish every movie and everything was on some streaming service, because if every movie is on a streaming service, I am more likely as a consumer to pay money for it being on that streaming service,
Sure.
rather than going and trying to pirate it or streaming it off of some website, right? But not every movie is on a streaming service. So
But
if
I
I
just-
really want to watch a movie, I have to either track down a $20 DVD or Blu-ray, or I can just fucking watch it online, streaming it for free, and that sucks.
Yeah. I just accept that I'm just not going to watch
Yeah,
it.
that's my thing too. Is like if I can't watch a movie, the idea of pirating or illegal streaming Never comes into my head. It's
Yeah.
like, well, I guess I just won't watch it.
I can
And I'm okay with
I
that.
can say without a doubt that I've never illegally downloaded or streamed like anything.
I can't say that because I used Napster and LimeWire when we were younger. So
That's fair.
yeah, that was at the time probably wasn't illegal.
Oh no, it was.
Yeah, no, I guess it was.
It was.
Sure, yeah. So
Well,
I-
but
I
it's
can't-
that argument. It's that argument. It's not illegal for you to do it. It's illegal for Napster to allow
Sure.
you to do it.
Right.
Which is the same thing with streaming websites.
until Metallica comes.
It
after
is.
you.
You are not pirating anything by watching something off of a streaming website. The website is the one that's culpable because they're putting it up there for you to see. Now, torrenting is a different
Sure,
issue.
sure. That's downloading illegally.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know what torrenting is,
Yeah.
which I would assume probably not a lot of people because torrenting still it's not a big thing anymore, is it?
I think it's huge.
Oh, is it still huge? I don't
Yeah.
know. I'm not a criminal. So
Well,
I
didn't they
don't know.
take down like
I've never torrented anything. I've streamed stuff from websites a bunch, but
Pirate Bay? Was that streaming or was that torrent?
that was
torrent. Pirate Bay was torrent.
And that got taken down, right?
I don't know.
Yeah,
Sure.
but it's not the only place on the
Again,
Well, no,
Justin,
but that
we're
was
not-
like a main thing.
We're not criminals, okay?
True.
I don't know who. I don't know who the hell you think we are.
Right, like right now, I feel like I'm talking about like the black web or
Yeah.
the dark web. Like, it's just-
The black web.
You sound like a fucking altar boy. The black web.
Sounds like Donald Trump's web internet.
yeah,
That's what he calls
the
it.
black
Yeah.
web.
God of War took top honors in 9 categories, including Game of the Year at the 22nd Annual DICE Awards Show. In addition to winning Game of the Year, God of War won awards in game direction, game design, story, and art direction. The only other game to win multiple awards at DICE was action platformer Celeste, which won Action Game of the Year and Outstanding Achievement for an Independent Game. The DICE Awards are held annually by the Academy of Interactive Arts and Sciences, which includes more than 30,000 members. In addition to handing out 23 awards for games and their creators, the Academy of Interactive Arts and Sciences also recognized Bonnie Ross, head of Halo developer 343 Industries, with the honor of being the 2019 recipient of the Academy's Hall of Fame Award. And I have the list of games.
Why is Bonnie Ross? Why did she get the Hall of Fame?
You know,
I don't
Halo.
know. I didn't watch the thing where they gave her the award.
Out of all the people in the video game industry,
Well, because they already gave it to Hideo Kojima and the guy from Double Fine, and
yeah, but
maybe they're just running out of people.
there's that's I don't know. It just
She was the closest to the door. So
I mean, I guess
you-
it's just weird. Like, I mean, I don't want to take any. I'm not trying to take away any of her achievements in video games, but she has made what is it? One game,
3.
343. How many Halo games came from 343?
Well,
3.
Has there been
Halo
3?
4, 5, and then I guess Halo 2
Infinite,
remake. Infinite's not out yet.
Well,
Halo Wars 2, and then the Master Chief Collection.
Okay, so 5 games, which is cool, but they're all Halo, and 4 and 5 weren't received well. Halo Wars 2, I think, was. The Master Chief Collection, of course, was, because it's just a remake of the
4
first.
was received well.
Well, 5 was not.
5 was not.
I don't know, that's a weird Hall of Fame. That would be like
That's strange.
That would be like the WWE inducting, I don't know, fucking the guy who sits on the front row with the long hair. You know what I'm talking about, Trey?
In what?
In the wrestling. Remember when we watch pay-per-views, we always see the dude with the long hair in the front row.
Yeah.
It'd be like the WWE inducting that guy. It's like he hasn't really done a lot. He's there.
Halo?
He's always there,
Halo?
but he hasn't done a lot yet.
Halo 5 has an 84 on Metacritic.
Oh, well, Metacritic's hard. That's not fair.
How is that not fair?
Because Metacritic's such a fucking clusterfuck of people. It's ridiculous.
No, that's the reviewer.
Oh,
score.
okay,
Yeah, that
okay.
was not
Oh,
the.
okay.
That's surprisingly high for a user score.
I don't go off the.
That wasn't the user score. That was the.
Oh, I thought you said that was
no,
the user
that was
score.
the
I don't
other
go off
the
user
review score.
Halo 4 has an 87.
Yeah, I mean, so her accomplishments aside, there's got to be better people.
Maybe. I mean, it also
Yeah.
might be a thing where.
The Japanese dude from Nintendo.
Well, it also seems
But
a little like retroactive.
Miyamoto?
which one? I think Miyamoto's already gotten that.
Oh,
award.
okay. Well, maybe
it to him again.
Blazinski.
I mean, they've been doing it for 22 years. I think part of the thing is
Oh,
too,
maybe.
like, I can't think of another female in gaming that runs or that has such a high leadership and as big of a company as
Jade Raymond?
343.
Jade Raymond was behind the first 3 Assassin's Creeds.
Sure, but I don't think that Jade Raymond. Did she have a leadership position at Ubisoft?
Yeah, I mean, she was the creative director of Assassin's Creed.
I don't know.
I don't
know. I can't explain why.
I just wouldn't have chose somebody from 343. Period. That's all.
You don't like Halo or first person.
That's not my point. I do like first person. I played Destiny for 4 years.
Yeah, but that is not. You don't play Destiny because it's a first person shooter.
Oh, here we go.
But that's exactly the gameplay. The gunplay is exactly why we play Destiny.
I know, but like I don't think that the first person shooterness of Destiny is what draws you to Destiny.
And Overwatch is a MOBA, and here we are last week.
Yeah, no, it has nothing to do with whether or not I like Halo. It's just I don't know because I don't know everybody in the gaming industry, but in my limited of developers' knowledge, I would have thought there's somebody better and more deserving than somebody who's still in the industry, still making games.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know, but I just, it's a Hall of Fame. You pick people that aren't
I was gonna say
doing
usually
the thing anymore.
Yeah, usually Hall of Fame is for like, hey, remember this person who retired maybe a couple years back?
Huge impacts in the video games
Yeah.
industry. I just don't think she's made huge impacts, but I don't know. I could be wrong.
So, quick going over a couple of these awards: outstanding achievement in animation, Marvel Spider-Man; achievement in art direction, God of War; achievement in character, God of War Kratos, which is really funny to see on a list; achievement in original music composition, God of War; achievement in sound design, God of War; achievement in story, God of War; outstanding technical achievement, Red Dead Redemption 2; action game of the year, Celeste; game of the year, God of War; family game of the year, Unravel 2; fighting game of the year, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate; racing game of the year, Forza Horizon 4; role-playing game of the year, Monster Hunter World. There we
There you
go.
go. Nailed it.
Sports game of the year, Mario Tennis Aces; strategy simulation game of the year, Into the Breach; outstanding achievement in online gameplay, Fortnite; immersive reality technical achievement. This is VR technical achievement. Tanandi. There we
Sure.
go.
Yeah, why not?
Immersive reality game of the year, Beat Saber; achievement in independent games, Celeste; portable game of the year, Florence; and then game design, God of War; game direction, God of War; and then again game of the year. I don't know why they listed it twice, God of War.
Just in case you didn't hear it enough.
Just in case everybody's circle jerking themselves and this academy didn't come already, that was for them to actually come.
At least they went with our thinking of like,
course.
look, if you're going to win all of these categories, you should be game of the year.
Opposite. If you're going to win game of the year, you should win all these categories.
Right, that's
100%.
what I meant.
Yeah. 100%.
The fun part about this list is it's one of the few like game awards lists where I don't really have a problem with anything. Like I felt like that's a pretty fair list of games. I mean, there's some games on there that I just don't know, but I thought that list was a pretty good representation of 2019. I think Red Dead Redemption could have stood to be on it a little bit more than it was.
I think Red Dead Redemption should have been on it quite a bit more. Probably not game of the year. It was mine, but
I could have seen it for
sound design and original music for sure. Like
But-
God of War's music wasn't very original.
well, probably for like outstanding character as well. Like,
Yeah, I would have thought Arthur Morgan has more depth than
know.
Kratos
it's
does.
one
because
of
like
those things
Kratos
where,
is
like-
like, hey, here's this character that you've seen for
I have my
countless games.
own thoughts about like this whole God of War versus Red Dead Redemption thing, but the thing that like the reason why I haven't really like talked about it too much is because I haven't finished God of War, and I want to finish it, but it's hard for me to say like when every other fucking award show this year or website awards is giving God of War everything. It's hard for me to be like, who's wrong here, me because I think Red Dead Redemption should have more, or literally everyone else on the planet.
Well, this is all opinion, so nobody's wrong or right.
Although if it were up to me, Spider-Man would be on. Most
Sure,
of that shit.
and that's the thing. I mean, we've been saying it for years. Award shows is all. It's just a bunch of people's opinions, and they take all those opinions and they add up their opinions, and whichever has the most opinions is the one that they choose.
The
Yeah,
average
but
opinion.
Yeah,
It's not.
That's
I
all
don't-
it is.
I don't feel like it's super often anymore. I feel like back in the 360 and PS3 days, it was more consistent. But I feel like this is the first time in a really long time where awards have been just consistently going one way or the other. And I guess I still want to figure out why.
I honestly think because. So you know how I said the internet, like if you don't hate something, you really aren't part of the internet. I don't think if you love the internet darling enough, you're not part of the games industry.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Right. Like, it goes both ways.
You could ask any single person in the games industry, journalist, whatever it is, hey, did you like God of War? And if somebody says no, you're automatically shunned. It's like, why didn't you like God of War? It's the greatest thing that's ever come out. It's so good. The depth is there. The flufferflush and flufferfluff. It's like, yeah, well, I just preferred Red Dead Redemption 2. Why? It was buggy and it was just, the pacing was wrong and everything, blah, blah, blah. It's like, well, there you go. Like, if I don't love your internet darling, then I'm wrong. So,
I don't know. I just think that in terms of critical reception, both games got pretty similar reception.
Sure.
I don't really think that like Red Dead Redemption was like a hated game.
No, of course it wasn't. But, but like, if you really sat down and you, as the people, judging this or whatever it is, forming their opinions, if you sat down and really like took sound design from a game, you're asking people that may know like an idea of what goes into sound design, but like don't really have a clue how much time or like what they had to do to go into all these sound design things, right? So Red Dead Redemption, these people probably went out and recorded hundreds of hours of gun shooting and what ricocheting bullets sound like and what all these different things sound like. But in God of War, you have these magical axes. There's no way to do that. There's no such thing as a magical axe. So you've got to use your imagination to make that shink, whatever that is. Like, hey, that's really cool and it's a lot of work. But, is it really better than the people that actually went out and created this insanely realistic world? Is that really better? You know what I mean? I can't answer that. I have no fucking clue. I would have given sound design to Red Dead because, like, I can't imagine making, that world so immersive and it's set in a real world. Like, I can get it in a fantasy game because you can do whatever the hell you want, but you're literally making a living, breathing world where I've said it before. If you sat down and played Red Dead enough and you closed your eyes and you started, sending players at different points on the map, if you played enough, you could say, oh yeah, I'm in the swamp. I can totally hear frogs. I can hear the buzzing of the flies, blah, 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 blah. Oh, I'm in the Heartlands. I can totally hear the wind going through the grass in the plains. You know what I mean? Like, to me, that sound design's better because it's there. But I also have never played God of War. But I just, I've played Red Dead and I've sat there just in a field and closed my eyes and literally could hear and the grass moving as the wind goes by.
I think
that's incredible.
I think there's a difference between sound design that kind of adds to a scene versus something that really like takes over a scene, I feel like that's what Red Dead does really well, is that it's so subtle and it's there.
Sure.
But if it wasn't there, it would make a huge difference. You would know it wouldn't feel alive.
Exactly.
Whereas I haven't played a God of War, but I have played some God of War games, and it's usually a little bit more epic, or there's the music in it and kind of the sound effects.
Yeah, but that's soundtrack, not sound.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but
again, I don't want to sound like I'm taking anything away from God of War, but just from a technical standpoint, I just would have thought, of course Red Dead has better sound design. Like, I don't think there's a question in the world. But again, I'm not.
I don't know. I mean, but like compared to one of the things I didn't talk about with Resident Evil 2 remake is
that's another one.
They have this, I forgot what they call it, but it's basically ambient sound design where you can hear the direction that something's coming from. Like if something's walking above you, you even like with just headphones on, I can tell you that where that person is. Or when I walk into a room, I can hear how close something is to the door.
Games have gotten really fucking good at that.
And I just like in terms of sound design, like that. I've never played a game with as great sound design as that. It's fucking incredible. I know what's going on.
You play games more.
But I know what's going on in this whole building.
Sure, yeah.
And it's crazy to me, the amount of work that probably takes to implement into a game.
Sure, yeah.
If it was easy, every game would do it.
Sure, yeah, exactly. But and like you were saying, like Red Dead, if your bullet whizzes past your ear and you're wearing headphones, you'll almost feel that force of the bullet going past your ear. It's crazy. It's fucking weird. And it's like there's Resident Evil's another one. I think Resident Evil 4 nailed it. This is back in GameCube. Like, it had that same atmosphere. You could almost like tell, like, you could hear scratching on the left side of your speaker. It's like, oh shit, and turn around. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now it's even better. You know, what's it called? Division does that really well too. Like, playing with headphones on, you can kind of hear, like, they have these weird, like, robot dogs that have turrets on them, and you can hear it because they're big and loud. So if you're sitting down and you're not in a firefight, you can start to hear that, and you can hear it getting closer, and you can tell where it's coming from, if it's above you or whatever. It's really cool. Sound design in video games, awesome. Anyway, I'm just surprised Red Dead's not on here more, but I think it's because God of War was the internet darling, more so than Red Dead was.
There was a Nintendo Direct last week, the day after we recorded. So there is a
It's your fucking fault. We used to be fine.
Yep.
We used to record on a Thursday before we played D&D. It was a good afternoon into a great evening, and it's your fucking fault that we're literally a week behind a Nintendo Direct now.
You
That's
ruined
right.
everything.
One fucking week.
Yep, I've heard this before many times.
Ruined everything.
Never gets old.
As long as you're aware. So
I was there.
As long as you're aware,
I too recorded.
As long as you're aware, you have ruined lives.
I too recorded noon at lunch on Thursdays.
So yeah, mostly they just announced a ton of new games. First up, well, I don't know how this list is organized because I didn't make the list myself because I don't have an hour to sit there and rewatch a Nintendo Direct and make a list. But you know what? I'm going to start from the bottom and then go to the top because the really good stuff is at the top of this list, and this list is really long. All right, so it was just a bunch of new games announced. I'm going to read off the name of a game, and if I think it's unimportant, I'm going to skip it. If you guys want me to go into it, just say something.
Wait, so you're going to read the game, but you're going to skip it if you think it's unimportant?
Yeah,
He's not
I
gonna
think
go
it's
into
unimportant.
He's not going to go into detail
Yeah.
about it. Got it.
Yeah.
You're not
I'm
going to
gonna
skip
skip the
game.
description.
Got it.
How will we know?
Yeah. How would we know if you're going to skip the game? I understand.
Grid Autosport is coming to the Switch. Unravel 2.
Thank fucking God.
Assassin's Creed 3 remastered for the first time on Nintendo Switch. Experience Assassin's Creed 3 with revamped gameplay and features tailored to the system like motion aiming and touch input. The addition to all the originals games DLCs and standalone game Assassin's Creed Liberation Remastered will also be included when Assassin's Creed 3 Remaster launches for Switch on May 21st. Also, this is from MyNintendoNews.com.
Why didn't they pick a better Assassin's Creed game?
That was the American one, right?
Yeah, it's the American version.
Everyone always insists on. I don't know. Ubisoft is constantly insisting on Assassin's Creed 3.
Maybe they're like subtly hinting at a revolution in America.
Maybe they're just like, if we force this game down people's throats on as many different platforms as we can, maybe someone will like it.
Yeah, or maybe
I mean, it wasn't bad. It's just Connor was fucking annoying. That's all. It's just the worst protagonist in an Assassin's
I
Creed
think
game.
a
that's
bad
all.
protagonist in an Assassin's Creed game is a big deal.
Yeah, you're right. It is. It's a very big deal.
You know that main character? Yeah, not good.
It kind of ruined the game for me, and it's set in literally one of my favorite timelines or time
Periods.
periods in the world. And like it sucks. It's my least favorite Assassin's Creed, even though it takes place in my favorite time period.
Yeah.
Period.
Dead by Daylight is coming to the Switch.
Why do I know that name?
It's the 3v1 or 4v1.
Don't like those games.
Killer game. Chocobo's Mystery Dungeon, Everybody, is coming on March 20th. Final Fantasy IX is coming to the Switch.
It's good shit. It's one of the best ones.
Does not. Oh, actually, it came out on the Switch that day, the day of the Direct.
Oh,
Final Fantasy VII is hitting the Switch on March 26th.
not like a remake like the original.
The original.
Okay.
Well, probably the remastered one that's on Steam and PS4.
There's a remastered Final Fantasy VII.
It's remastered. It's just
re-released.
Yeah,
Did they just smooth out the polygons or what? Like,
it's basically made so that it can look okay on an HD system.
okay.
Deltarune, the game from the creator of Undertale, is coming to Nintendo Switch. Downloading Deltarune Chapter 1 for free. Download Deltarune Chapter 1 for free on the Nintendo eShop beginning February 28th. Very excited about that. I don't know if it's out on PS4 yet. I need to look.
Wait, so it's going to be chapter based instead of like Undertale was one game, right? Mm-hmm. So this one's going to be chapter based.
Yeah, but it also sounds like it's going to be free.
No, well, sure. No, I'm just wondering.
No. I know. I
Sounds like chapter one's free.
maybe.
If he's smart, he'll charge for every other chapter.
Although I think I'm confused about this too. I think what he had said was chapter 1 is like a free intro, and whatever Deltarune Chapter 2 is considered the full game.
Oh, okay.
I was going to say, Deltarune...
So there's not like chapter 3, 4, 5 or whatever. They're just going to be 1 and 2.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I remember watching some of a playthrough of it, and it's not long.
No, it's not. It's I think it's just an introduction.
Okay.
Yeah. Rune Factory 4 special. I don't know. Classic
Neat.
RPG Rune Factory 4. Disney's Tsum Festival.
Tsum Tsum.
Tsum Tsum. What's a Tsum Tsum?
It's those little. They're little. I don't know how to describe them.
Miniature
So when
dolls.
when you go to the
The little ones that are like
when you go to the
characters.
toy store and
They look like they're like cylinders with like
yes,
legs. Right?
yeah, but their faces are like
Like smoothed
yeah.
out.
Okay, that's
not
cute.
not smoothed out. They're like
Cutesy?
huh?
Like...
Yeah, they're like little. I
Like
mean, they're like
small.
little, like kind of pillow-looking things, and they're on the edge of the pillows. They have the faces.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whitney has a few of them. Tsum Tsums.
New Star Fox missions are coming to Starlink Battle for Atlas.
Wait, what? What's Starlink? Oh, that's that game.
the game
oh,
with the
yeah,
toys,
yeah.
yeah.
No thanks.
Some game called Oni Naki.
More like I'm gonna own your Naki.
Yeah, there you go. Dragon Quest Builders 2 is coming to the Switch on July 12th.
Is that like Minecraft with Dragon Quest?
Kind of, yeah. The first one was really
Oh.
popular.
Oh.
Dragon Quest 11
You thought I was joking, didn't you?
Dragon 11S. Dragon Quest 11S Echoes of an Elusive Age Definitive Edition is coming to the Switch this fall.
And you guys give Kingdom Hearts shit. The hell?
Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, The Black Order. For the first time in 10 years, the Marvel Ultimate Alliance series returns with 4-player action and an original story, all exclusive to Nintendo Switch.
The best part about that game is that you can have one Switch, I'm assuming, yes, and 4 controllers, and you can all play.
I don't know.
I think so.
That's
yeah, let me see. I was going to read that, but you
Oh, okay.
interrupted me. Assemble your dream team from a huge cast of Marvel superheroes, including Marvel Ultimate's Cosmic Protector, Captain Marvel. Players can save the world together with up to 4 players in TV mode with 4 separate systems, locally or online.
Oh,
so no, it has to
locally.
be 4
Okay.
separate systems.
That's probably the best part about that game is that you can all get 4 controllers, hook it up to your dock, and play. That, like, I really like Marvel Ultimate Alliance. However, are the X-Men in it?
I don't know yet. They haven't announced the full roster.
I know that sucks. Wolverine will be in it because it's Wolverine. Of
course.
That
So will Deadpool.
launches in the summer.
I'd like to see Magneto because Magneto's been in the other 2. Just saying.
Demon X Machina is coming out in the summer.
Sounds like a Damien game.
I almost said Damien because of the way they spelled demon, but Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice, winner of multiple awards. Hellblade is coming to Nintendo Switch, created in collaboration with neuroscientists and those who lived experiences of psychosis. Hellblade is coming out for the Switch this spring. That's an interesting game to
Not my
put out
type
on
of
the
game.
Switch. I feel like I don't know. I feel like that game was very pretty, and maybe because it's. I don't know. I just feel like that's not the best place to play that game.
What is it about?
It's the.
It's one with the chick's crazy. She
She's not
sees shit.
crazy. She has like multiple personality disorders.
Okay.
It won a bunch of awards like last year.
Gotcha.
Cool. I'm so hungry. Super
your stomach?
Bros- yeah, that was my stomach.
Holy.
Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is getting Joker from Persona 5 before the end of April. They announced some new amiibo and stuff. That's pretty cool. Additional details about the 3.0 update coming to the Fighters Pass content will be revealed in the future, and also be lookout for a new amiibo from in 2019 from Snake, Simon, Squirtle, Pokemon Trainer, and Ivysaur.
I didn't know amiibos is still a thing.
They are, and I learned today that there is a 3-pack of amiibo coming for Shovel Knight with a bunch of the different characters from the DLCs, and I really want it, and it's cool.
You have no amiibos left.
What's up?
I said you don't even own any
I
amiibos.
own my Shovel Knight amiibo.
Oh, that's right.
I still have him.
That's right.
Captain Toad Treasure Tracker update and special episode DLC. That's coming February 13th. Yoshi's Crafted World comes out on March 29th, and it's not getting super positive press. Mortal Kombat 11 is coming out on Switch April 23rd. More stuff about that, if you care, is online because
Why?
they're like revealing
On the
every
Switch.
fighter.
So my thought process for Hellblade was like, that's such a weird, number one, it's really pretty. So how's it going to run well on the Switch? Number two, that's just a weird console to put a game like that on.
I don't know.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know where I'm going. I just had to find if it was politically incorrect to say she was crazy. She's a video game character. Get over it. But it's just a weird. It's a weird system to put that on because I figured most people. Well, no, I guess because most people that own Switches, I don't know. I don't see a lot of people that own Switch want to play Mortal Kombat or something like Hellblade.
Well, if you want to play Mortal Kombat, I feel like your go-to system wouldn't be the Switch.
That's what I mean.
Does that make sense?
That's yeah, sure. Like, why would I buy Mortal Kombat on Switch when I can buy it on PlayStation 4 or Xbox?
Right.
I just don't understand it. Or Hellblade. Hellblade's already been out on the Xbox. I don't know if it came out on PS4. Has it yet? Did it at all? Maybe not.
I think it came out on. Yeah, it's out on
Okay.
PS4.
But then on Switch, that's just not a game I would. As a Switch owner, I would never buy that for the Switch. But even if I was a fan of that game, why would I buy it on the Switch? I don't know. I just don't get it.
I also can't imagine playing like an intense fighting game just on a little Joy-Con.
Yeah, the little tiny thing. Yeah, that would be weird.
Or just spend $70 on a Pro Controller and buy another one for your friend. Bloodstained Ritual of the Night, the Castlevania game by the guy that made Castlevania, is coming out on the Switch this summer. Tetris 99. Chris, you want to talk about this?
No.
Yes.
The Battle Royale Tetris game came out on the Switch that day.
Doesn't even matter what it is. If it's a battle royale, the internet's going to love it.
It.
Does not matter what it is.
Yeah, I mean,
Sure, and if there was a battle royale game that I'm going to play, it's going to be this one.
really.
Oh yeah, I mean,
You
it's
big,
Tetris.
you a big fan of Tetris?
Who's not a fan of Tetris?
I'm not.
I didn't realize.
How are you
people-
not a fan of Tetris?
I don't think it's that great of a game.
You sit there and you swipe threes on your phone all day long. And you don't play Tetris?
yeah,
Boom, called out.
Yeah, threes is better than Tetris.
Oh. Rebuttal?
No, there is.
I just don't like Tetris. I don't see. It just doesn't. It's not fun for me. I don't blame other people for liking it. I just don't think it's very.
You
fun.
mean you don't blame the rest of the world?
Apparently, yeah. I don't blame the other.
There's 6 billion people in the world, so the 5 billion,
5,999,000.
yeah, exactly, yeah.
999,000. Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
blame them.
Yeah. I don't have a problem with Tetris, but this game just looks silly.
Well, sure it does. Am I going to play it? No. But would I play it? Sure.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
I just want to know who had this idea. Like, Battle Royale Tetris. Let's do
Nintendo
it.
did. Nintendo was like, hey, look at all the battle royales. What do we have that we can make a battle royale
I don't
out
think
of?
Nintendo published this game or made this game.
Whoever owned the right to Tetris was like, hey, can we make our game into a battle royale? And the answer is yes. You just say, instead of the 2-player Tetris, now it's 99-player Tetris.
Apparently, it's fun if you like Tetris.
You're literally the only person in the world that doesn't like Tetris. So I think universally you can say it's fun.
Box Boy and Box Girl comes out on the Nintendo eShop April 26th. This is one of my most anticipated games of the year. This game looks fucking
Box
great.
Boy?
No.
Oh.
Fire Emblem Three Houses. 3 noble houses that are part of the Officers Academy, an elite facility that trains students in the ways of weapons, magic, and special skills. As a professor, the player must choose one of these houses to lead its students in grid-based battles with life or death stakes. Each house is comprised of many different students to meet and train, each with his or her own personality and skills. These students can interact with each other at the academy, and Fire Emblem Three Houses launches on July 26th.
What the fuck kind of school is this?
Oh, it's really cool. It's like
Hogwarts.
Game of Thrones and
You don't have-
Hogwarts
you don't
had
have
a
to
baby.
tell me, I get it, but what kind of fucking school says, hey, it's okay for you guys to kill each other?
Japanese
No.
schools.
They're
If
not
video
killing each
games
other.
have taught me
Literally
anything,
just said there's
Japanese
life
schools.
and death situations.
Yeah, because
what
they're
kind
being
of
sent
school,
out on missions.
What
to
kind of
kill
school
things.
puts their kids in life and death situations?
Well, they're not really kids. It's like a Warriors Academy.
Like I said, if video games taught me anything, it's Japanese schools just do whatever they want.
I guess.
People die all the time.
But
there's like
adults
sex
in it.
clubs.
It's not like kids. It's like some are like mid to late teenagers to young adults. They're not really kids.
until you look up their age and it's like, oh, that
No, they're
person's
not
12.
kids. You can sit there and shake your head yes, but they're not all kids.
18 to 16.
Yeah, they're children. It's like
Yeah.
it's like Kingdom Hearts. It's like who let your kids do this?
Right.
Sora, where's your mom?
It's so strange seeing.
You're 14.
It's weird seeing Axel next to like Roxas and everybody
Because
because
he's
like
like-
he's
he-
so tall.
Well, yeah, because he's like fucking 20-something years old.
Right.
And
But-
Roxas is 14.
You don't think about it when it's just they're all surrounded by each other,
Sure.
and then Axel's like, "Give me a hug," and it's like, "Ugh,
Get away from me, weird man.
freakishly tall thing."
The new Fire Emblem looks great. It looks really cool to be.
It looks like Fire Emblem. It looks awesome.
It looks like Fire Emblem, but on a console. Like there's just like more detail put into it. The character models look better. The story looks great. I like the
Oh,
whole
sure.
Game of Thrones Hogwarts vibe. I'm very excited for this game. So yeah,
Did you ever play Fire Emblem on the GameCube or the Wii?
yeah,
Okay. The Radiant Dawn one?
yeah,
Okay. It looks like that, just better.
yeah. But it's just been a while since we've seen Fire Emblem on a console.
Oh, yeah, sure, I
Yeah.
guess.
Astral Chain is a new game from Platinum Games, directed by Takashi Tora, known for his work as game designer for Nier Automata and supervised by Hideki Kamiya, creator of the Bayonetta series.
I got Trey to say Automata.
Yeah. What did it? What?
It's Automata.
Automata.
Nope.
But
Automata.
I keep saying Automata, now
Yeah.
Trey says
Yeah.
it.
Automata. As part of a police special force unit in a multicultural futuristic city, players work together with the special living weapons, the Legion, in a synergetic action system of battle and exploration. More details about the Nintendo Switch exclusive will be revealed in the future, and it's set to launch on August 30th. The art style in that game looks pretty neat.
It looks like Crackdown, but Japanese.
Yeah, it looks like Crackdown and Bayonetta had a baby. The last two games on this list are Super Mario Maker 2. This is supposed to arrive in June. I don't know. Again, I feel like I'm
Sure,
I feel like
whatever.
I'm like one of the only people on the planet that doesn't care about Super Mario Maker, but people are really excited for it.
No,
so.
you're not the only
No.
person. That's where you're okay to not like something.
It's not that I don't like it. I just don't care about it.
I think that's the same.
I think the people that care about the first one are the people who care about the second
Yeah,
one.
but-
people like that game is pretty big.
The people that care about it though are the ones that like make the impossible things.
Right.
Right.
That's what
That's
kept
the part
it.
about it that's not fun.
Right.
It's like it's one thing to like make a level and it's like challenging to go through the level. It's hard. It's another thing where it's like, oh, you have to have the right perfect timing about launching out and jumping on a turtle shell and throwing the turtle. Like none of that is fun to me.
Well, you have to do everything like frame perfectly.
Yeah.
Like it's too much. But people love watching YouTubers do it, and that helps.
Yep. And last up on our list, The Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening remake. Originally released on the Game Boy system more than 25 years ago, one of the most beloved games in the Legend of Zelda series returns. In this modern reimagining, players travel to the mysterious island of Koholint to guide Link on a perilous adventure. The Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening arrives exclusively to the Switch in 2019. Has cool animated cutscenes, or at least one animated cutscene, and an art style that is very like Yoshi's Woolly
Yeah,
World-ish.
I'm not a fan of the art style.
Something interesting I found about the art style. I saw this on a Reddit post as well. Someone was warning people to not look up. Basically, you could accidentally stumble upon spoilers for the game by looking up stuff about the art style.
It's been out
So,
for
like,
25 years. Of course you can look up spoilers for the game.
well, maybe it's just for this one. I don't know anything about this game. All I know is that like
I think it's really funny how someone's like, in a game that has been out for 25 years, you could find spoilers of it online.
well, this one's different because there's like the chain chomp and stuff from like Mario in it.
Well, yeah, but a lot of...
I think they've done some things in this game, but I guess apparently
I
this,
think we're stretching in what a spoiler is.
I guess apparently the art style could play into a story element in some way, and people have stumbled upon it by accident, by like looking up.
We're stretching what a spoiler is.
I mean, I'm just
Stretching
letting you
hard
know
was-
no one's
what I saw.
no one's judging you. We're judging the person on Reddit that was talking about it.
There
Like-
was a lot of
like-
people who agreed.
Well, that's also coming from a culture like, God forbid, you talk about anything
Right.
after it's come out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
God-
I don't know anything about. I don't even know what you could spoil in a.
You could literally say
In a
Chris
Lynx
Evans.
game.
You could say Chris Evans' hair is a lighter shade of brown in Endgame, and people would get mad at you.
Yeah, that shows that he got older.
I don't know. I'm not crazy. I'm not crazy about the art style.
I'm not either. I'm not a fan of that weird clay-looking
It's like toys.
Whatever it is.
They look like little toy soldiers to me.
Yeah.
And I'm not, I don't know. I think a lot of people are going to love this game. This is one that'll probably skip.
Everybody's going to love this game.
I feel like you have to.
Sure, it's going to be the internet darling
Yeah.
because it's Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening.
Yeah.
And the video of Brian Altano like crying when it came out, it's gone viral. So everybody's going to like this game because it made a grown man cry.
Yeah.
Hey man, he can like what he wants. I'm not like digging at him or anything like that, but yeah, dude, it's just everybody's gonna like it. It's fine, like it. You know, I'm not saying don't like it. It's just also don't get mad at somebody when they say they don't.
Right. But you haven't tried it yet.
It's very true.
So don't say you
yeah,
don't like
actually,
it.
no, I have. I've played Link's Awakening.
But
And it's
Link's Awakening is a great
and it's
game.
my least favorite Zelda game.
Well, there you go. Fair enough.
All right. That's the end of the Nintendo Direct.
That's not true. Like Four Swords or something on Game Boy Advance is probably my least favorite Zelda game.
Yeah, good call.
Yeah.
Let's move on to quick saves. Developer Red Hook Studios has revealed that the follow-up to the role-playing game Darkest Dungeon is on its way. Announced on Twitter with first details from PC Gamer, Darkest Dungeon 2's announcement came alongside a brief teaser video called The Howling End. This video shows 6 returning classes from the first game. The teaser, narrated by Darkest Dungeon's Wayne June, says, quote, "In the howling darkness of the end, men will become monsters, but hope will ride with those courageous enough to carry the flame," end quote.
I think you missed the point of quick save.
No.
One sentence and you're done.
Nope.
This
No.
was you basically just made a news article.
This is my quick save. Hollow Knight developer Team Cherry has
Also,
a
totally miss a darkerest dungeon.
darkerest.
Let's come on, guys.
Too dark, too dungeon.
Yeah, let's come on. You're taking yourself way too seriously. Darkerest or too dark, too dungeon.
Darkest Dungeon 2. I do. Hollow Knight developer Team Cherry has announced a full-scale sequel to Hollow Knight called Hollow Knight Silksong. Quote, "Almost from the very start, Hornet's adventure was intended to take place in a new land, but as we dove in, it quickly became too large and too unique to stay a DLC as initially planned. We do know that makes the wait a little longer, but we think the final fresh world you'll get to explore is worth it." End quote. Team Cherry posts read. The game will be releasing on Windows, Mac, Linux, and Nintendo Switch at launch. Team Cherry said that more platforms may be added in the future. And last up, this is the funnest news story and quick saves. THQ has bought yet another studio. This time it's Kingdom Comes Deliverance's Warhorse Studios. Announced by THQ Nordic and THQ Nordic AB subsidiary Koch Media. THQ Nordic has acquired the Prague-based Warhorse Studios on the 1-year anniversary of Kingdom Come Deliverance's release. Along with the acquisition, it was revealed that Kingdom Come Deliverance sold over 2 million copies across PC, PS4, and Xbox One. The acquisition includes the development studio and all intellectual property rights to Kingdom Come Deliverance, which is Warhorse's sole release since it was established in 2011. Koch Media and Warhorse already have an established relationship, as Koch Media's game publishing division, Deep Silver, helped publish Kingdom Come Deliverance. It's an interesting acquisition, but you know.
If that game can sell 2 million units, I have no doubt that now I'm rethinking about because EA announced that they want Anthem to sell 6 million. I was like, there's no way Anthem's selling 6 million. Kingdom Come Deliverance can sell 2 million. There's no way in the world Anthem doesn't sell more than 6.
I feel like Kingdom Come was was like an indie darling up until people started accusing it of being racist. There was a lot of people that were super into it and thought it was weird. I also think they did a really good job marketing on Steam, but also I don't know. I don't think.
How is it? It's a terrible game. It's just not good.
Have you played it?
I've watched enough people play it to where the combat system and stuff like that is just not good.
Yeah, I don't know. I it doesn't interest me at all. I don't really see the fun in playing an RPG in a realistic medieval setting.
Right, so that's my point.
Yeah.
How is it an indie darling? Just because it
A lot of
looked
people
different?
liked it.
Just because
Interesting.
it's different.
Anyway, but that's 2 million people that bought it.
Yeah.
I just thought to myself, there's no way Anthem's selling 6 million units. That's going to be impossible. But if Kingdom Come Deliverance can sell 2, then my estimations are way off.
But did Kingdom Come Deliverance have EA early access to kind of taint the
Well,
waters
that's-
before it comes out?
That's a fair point, though. If you're playing it through a subscription service, how do they count that as a sale? And
The same way Xbox Games Pass counts 1 million Sea of Thieves as a sale.
I guess. But again, we still haven't figured out how they've done that.
Well, they have. There's
just
from the
count
numbers of Sea of Thieves, there's no fucking way that they've sold as many as they said that sold literal copies as they say they have.
Well, then by that merit, then they've already sold 6 million units of Anthem. Good job.
Sure, possibly.
Good job,
yeah.
EA.
100%. I
Woo.
mean, they got 2 copies out of me.
Yeah.
So yeah, 100%. I just with the negative press, I just didn't think Anthem would sell it. But
I don't know. I'm still not convinced. Not because
You're not
the game's
convinced about
bad,
what?
but I'm not convinced it'll sell 6 million in the time frame that EA needs it to. Will it sell 6 million eventually? Of course it will. Because I think that's going to be a game that's updated and people are going to jump in and play it and think it's great after it's had some time to be updated. But I don't know at launch if it's going to sell 6 million like EA wants it to.
I bet it will. I would guess if they count, because we think downloads count as a sell on Games Pass and stuff like that, right? That's kind of the consensus we came to. I would bet they're at over 1 million just because of EA
think so?
Premier. Yeah.
I guess that's fair. The one exception to me saying that is if they count EA Premier
Sure, they
players
have
as
to.
sales, then
Yeah.
yes, they will hit 6 million.
They
no
have
problem.
to. Because like I said, the game doesn't actually come out till Friday, which is that's physical Xbox sales, physical PS4 sales, and the digital PS4 and digital Xbox sales. Actually, digital Xbox sales may already be counted because they're already downloaded on their consoles.
I feel like it's going to be another Mass Effect Andromeda situation.
Of course it is.
But I feel like it's going to be even worse this time around because as much as like Mass Effect Andromeda is a good game in spite of its flaws, I don't think that Anthem's flaws are as big of a deal.
Well, they're
as
not. That's
Andromeda's were.
Right.
that's the difference, right? Where Andromeda was a good game, and it always is and always will be because Andromeda is a good game. Anthem actually is a great game. It's just it's got so much negative press behind it that it's already killed it.
Yeah.
And unwarranted negative press for the most part.
With Andromeda, you could be like, I mean, you can kind of write that one off.
No. I'm sorry, I don't mean that.
Well, to more of an extent than if Anthem kind of goes in the same way. Like Anthem could be great, whereas Mass Effect Andromeda was okay, was good.
I mean, I guess, but the journalists killed Mass Effect Andromeda, right? EA and the game didn't kill it. There was nothing wrong with Mass Effect Andromeda. I mean, yeah, the facial animations were weird, but just from strictly just how good the game was, which games should be judged on in the first place, it's a fucking awesome game. I mean, I played it. Trey's almost done with it, I would assume. I don't know where the hell you are on it. But it's a great game. It's tons of fun. Is it as good as 2 or 3? No, absolutely not. But it's just Combat's actually better than 2 and 3. It's just a fun fucking game. It's a great game. But journalists killed it because the journalists in YouTube killed it because the thing to complain about was the facial animations, which, to be completely honest, make no fucking difference in the world. Who fucking cares? Just because somebody looks weird in a cutscene. God forbid, my God. Every other game, most of the cutscenes, people look like fucking weirdos.
Right.
Like why Mass Effect Andromeda? Oh, it's an EA game. We should expect that from EA. Oh, there we go. Assumptions are what killed Mass Effect Andromeda. Same thing with the Division.
Anthem.
Assumptions are killing Anthem. Assumptions of this, assumptions of that, the microtransaction thing before we even had confirmation about what it is. Oh my God, microtransactions are the worst. They're $20 a piece. It's like they're $8. Like the armored things in Anthem, they're $8. And you have the choice if you want to buy them or not. It's not like they're shoving it down your throat. Whatever.
We'll see.
We'll see. You guys ready to end it?
Sure.
You are. You're hungry.
I'm hungry.
Yeah.
But I can
There's
keep, I can keep talking.
There are
if you guys
few
wanna keep
things
talking.
that drive Trey in life: hunger and D&D.
And cigarettes.
And men.
Well, no, I mean to get you to do things.
Oh, yeah.
Like so, right? So like it's one of those things. Like if we decide as a group something with D&D, like Trey's like, no, let's just play. well, but Justin died. I don't care. Let's play. Oh, okay, well, that's fine.
Jeez, thanks.
Yeah,
I just want to play because we only get to play once a week, and
My
he's
funeral's on Thursday.
He's not.
Nah.
He's not denying this.
Right.
Yeah.
no, I'm not. I just want to play.
Oh my goodness.
I'm not joking. Like there's been plenty of conversations like, look, I know you want to play, but good Lord, people's lives are like at stake. Not at stake.
He's dead.
Okay, it hasn't been that drastic.
No, it hasn't.
It
but
hasn't
it's
been
like,
a life or death
no,
situation.
it hasn't. But yeah, like things that drive Trey, the ability to play D&D, and food.
And men. Got to throw that one in there.
Yeah, I mean, sure, but that's not a drive. That's just a normal fucking thing.
Oh,
Right.
that was sweet.
What?
Thank you for accepting me, Chris.
Oh,
Our standards of sweet are just really skewed.
With Chris, you just got to take the opportunities when you see him.
yeah,
Right.
sure.
Like him getting, I wouldn't say offended, him almost being appalled that you'd rather play D&D than go to my funeral, I guess is kind of sweet for Chris.
Yeah.
No, it's not appalling.
Right.
I'm just not surprised.
Okay.
Also, to be fair, he would go to your funeral, then we would come play D&D.
Yeah, I would be like, as long as
Right.
D&D is not canceled.
Right,
Also,
exactly.
I would go to your parents.
What time is
Yeah,
the funeral?
I would go to your
any-
parents and Bree and be like, "Hey, can't we reschedule like the funeral?
yeah, anything
D&D
we
is always
yeah.
on Thursday. Why does
Anything
this
we
funeral
can
have
do
be
to
there?"
keep D&D going, we'll work around it
Right.
to make it happen.
Right. Put
Trey will work around
Put the
it.
body on ice for a
Right.
day.
Right.
If we played D&D, like if we had more time to play D&D during the week, it'd be different. But it's
We do. It's just a matter of people giving up other nights.
that's true.
That's the biggest thing. Because
That's
this guy won't ever give up his nights.
It's true.
True.
But to be fair, I have a hard time giving up like Friday and Saturday.
What's the day that I have a hard? Actually, I don't have. I don't really have a hard Tuesdays and Thursdays are my hard nights, but that's because I do D&D and the podcast
Sure.
on those days.
Sure.
Like those are the only 2 days I care about in a week.
Sure, but the issue is too like
I'm single.
Well, you work nights,
Yeah.
and you're single.
Actually, I work days now. I
It's
switched.
true, yeah. So, but you used to work nights, but now you work days. But you are also single. But you also, with as much as you claim you're an introvert, I'm seeing more and more that you are not an introvert. As you get older and older, you have a need to hang out with people.
It's not a.
You can deny it all you want.
No. I'm not denying it. I have been hanging out with people more often.
Sure.
I feel more obligated to say yes than I used to.
But that's still an extrovert way of thinking.
I know.
An introverted way of thinking is like, no,
Like-
dude, Sandy, like last weekend, Sandy was like, make sure you guys come over at 6 p.m. And it's like, why? She's like, well, we want to hang out with everybody. And I told her, it's like, yeah, but I don't have that need that you have, so I'm going to stay home.
Well, it's like the other night I got out of work kind of early, and my friend was like, "Hey, do you want to go to San Antonio for ramen?" And I was like, "No, I didn't have that money for ramen, but also I wanted to
How
like go home.
expensive is ramen?
Dude, it's like $20 for good ramen.
What?
Whoa.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah,
That's where the hipsters have taken the ramen?
dude, it's worth it. It's so, I mean, not to you.
The hipsters have taken the ramen.
I don't think I would ever be able to convince you that $20 is worth it for ramen, but that ramen is so good.
I used to be able to go to Austin and pay $5 for a bowl of ramen this fucking big, and it was phenomenal.
My dad is convinced that ramen, like they just use instant ramen noodles.
the place. Oh,
They do not.
they don't.
I've tried telling him.
Good ramen. It's the same like type of noodle. It's that real kind of like eggy whatever
Right.
kind of noodle. But yeah, it's definitely not.
The place
tried.
that we go to is like all farm to table and all that. Like they like buy pigs and butcher them in the store and then like cook the pig and everything
Fucking
like that.
hipsters, man.
Anyway,
Just buy it from Cisco. It's cheaper.
You bring
She
your
was
own
like,
pig.
Jesus Christ.
she was like, "Let's go get ramen," and I was like, "I can't afford it." And she was like, "I'll pay," and I was like, okay, she really wants to hang out with me, so I have to say yes.
That's intense.
And we had a really good time. I was glad I went. It's never like I'm not glad that I go. It was really nice for her. She paid for dinner. We had an awesome time. But it's always like that's what I am fighting against now. Where like if you ask me if I want to hang out, the answer is always no. But I will.
Unless
mostly
you
say
pay
yes.
for my food.
No, I will mostly say yes because I feel bad for saying no, and then I end up having a good time.
Well, that's the thing is you have that in the back of your head. You may feel bad for saying no, but that subconscious in you is like, yeah, I know I'm going to have a good time.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to say no to somebody you don't. I mean, you're not going to say no to somebody you like.
Mm-hmm.
But if somebody is like, hey, Trey, we've never hung out before. You want to go hang out? You're going to say no.
Well, and I think that's why, like, I think a bunch of people at D&D like think I hate them or something because anytime we're like, I get here like right as D&D is about to start, And then I leave, like I stay and talk for a little while.
Sure.
But I never like go out to dinner with anyone. I don't really go to game nights. And it's not because I hate anyone, but it's like, I'm spending 4 hours with you. This is our friend time. Let's be friends now.
Sure.
Says the guy who's like, let's play D&D more times during the week.
Exactly. I like structured friend time.
I want to see you on my terms.
Sure.
That's
Yeah.
also the issue. That's fair.
Yeah.
That's completely fair.
But that still doesn't make you any less of an extrovert.
Yeah.
You 100% are becoming an extrovert.
I don't like this change.
Too bad. It's called being an adult.
You're becoming more of an introvert. I remember you
I know.
used to force
It's
me to
great.
hang out.
I know, it's great. I can sit on my chair and in front of my PS4 and Whitney's right. We've got in the living room right now. Granted, the living room was cluttered because I had to take all the stuff we had in my car and put it in. Anyway, living room is real cluttered right now, but in the process of packing for moving and all this other stuff. But when Kingdom Hearts came out, I wanted to keep playing betas, which was Anthem and Division. So I have my TV and the PlayStation, but on the coffee table, Whitney has her TV and her PlayStation. So like that's our ideal Saturday nights is the two of us, literally her on the couch, me in the chair. I'm playing my PlayStation, she's playing her PlayStation, and there's no better Saturday night. I would not. I don't even care if you fed me hundreds of dollars worth of ramen. I'm gonna say no to do that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, like during football season. So me and Bree both love football. So on Sundays we would literally
This
bring
got real fucking boring.
we would bring the TV into one of the TVs into the living room. We would have one sitting on the ground on football, and then the other one would be like me playing Rocket League and stuff. And it's fantastic.
God, that is the worst life ever. You're watching football and playing Rocket League?
That's
Jesus Christ.
how dare you shit on my life?
Remember that whole talk about not hating on games that people love?
God, it's the worst.
What a hypocrite. What a hypocrite.
Hypocrites. I like that. Follow the show on Twitter at Twinstick Radio or on Facebook at facebook.com.
We haven't even done the ending yet.
No.
We went on the end rant without the ending.
I know. If you have any questions or comments, concerns, you can send them to twinstigradio@gmail.com. We are on Twitter as well. I'm at Darth Trey. Chris is at Short Change Hero with a 3 instead of the Ian Hero. And Justin is at Justin T. Lopez. The show is produced by Everett Jordan. Follow him on Twitter. No,
Nope.
don't
Just
follow
don't
him.
do anything.
I can't
yet.
change
It's
it.
just Everett.
Just
Yep.
He's here.
Yeah, just
listen
is
to
here.
the
Yep.
podcast.
At some
And-
point in time, you'll see his face on a stream, but that's about it.
Yeah. And the theme song is by Connor Manning. Go to downstreamstudios.com and follow Connor at Connor13, one in Connor13 spelled out, to talk to him about doing work for your podcast.
Rocket League and football. God, your life must suck.
My life is fantastic.
I don't think it will. Your work is fantastic. Hey, what'd you do at work today?
Nothing. I actually left early to go play more Kingdom Hearts.
Oh, cool. Thanks for telling us so we could have gotten this done earlier.
You were asleep.
No, he said he woke up
I
at 1.
woke up at 1.
Yeah.
How early did you leave work?
Uh,
What are you doing?
What is wrong with you?
I have to drive an hour. I had to go through rush hour traffic because of you.
You're the reason everything bad is happening.
Why do
here.
you hate us?
I just wanted to play Kingdom Hearts.
You're literally the reason everything bad in this podcast has ever happened.
Bye, guys. See you next week.